Hello and welcome to Edge of Empire, a Horus Heresy podcast. This is episode 9 of year 7. Sweet Jesus, if this was a child born episode 1, it'd be halfway through primary school by now or whatever. Terrifying concept.
And probably just about at the same level as our humour.
Absolutely. Possibly even slightly more,
I was
more
say
advanced,
yeah, I've got a nephew of that age who is way more advanced than our humour.
Well, fair enough. Who can blame them? So, joining me, Chris, this evening are 3 wonderful gentlemen. And normally when we do the intro, we try and compare each other to various important things, groups of 4s, etc. We've done lots of things in the past. Today, being the 26th of July, it's a special birthday in the world of media. It's the birthday not only of Mick Jagger, it's also Sandra Bullock's birthday. So let's compare these 3 wonderful gentlemen to 3 of the films from Sandra Bullock and just some of the reviews that have been written by various websites.
Yeah, I'm not gonna
This is getting very esoteric, but I'm loving it.
Not only is she a great actress, she doesn't.
I'm a fan of Sandra Bullock.
So am I.
So,
have you seen Lost City?
Starting with joining me this evening, the Gravity film by Sandra Bullock, that is Mr. B, an elegant film that speaks to the mysteries of human emotion. That is, as far as I'm concerned, Mr. B.
Mr. B.
Fair enough. I'm happy with that.
It's quite glowing.
Nice. Yes, no, very nice.
I'll take that one.
It's a good film as well.
Also joining me, Rob Ing, The Heat film.
The Heat.
Where is it? Despite their initial distrust and hostility, messages about friendship and loyalty come with a heaping of serving and crude, violent content.
That's it.
That review, I saw it and I was like, yep, I know the man. I know the man that's gonna.
And she's got hair a little bit like mine that I just shared.
Yeah, absolutely.
That is true too.
Absolutely. And finally, Miss Congeniality. Lots of fun, light-hearted, and well-delivered punchlines, but also contains a fair share of sexual innuendo. It is indeed Graham Mills.
I'll take that every day of the week.
Oh my word,
Yeah,
that's a good one.
And I'd like to thank Common Sense Media for the review elements that I stole from them today.
Okay,
known all the way across Brighton back in the day as Flatbush Graham.
That's
course.
right.
That's
Mr. Congeniality.
I was. Good lord.
Have you guys seen Lost City?
I have. That's, if I'm honest with you, Mr. B, I saw that the other day, and then I looked up when her birthday was, and it happened to be today. So the universe provides. It always
provided. Does. What film was that? Sorry, Mr.
Lost City. It's really good.
Okay, no, I haven't.
Yeah, it's quite good fun.
Channing Tatum was
Okay.
But yeah, so what
Daniel
are we
Radcliffe
covering?
is just brilliant in that.
He is very good in that, yeah. Despite the nuanced work of Sandra Bullock, happy birthday, Sandra, if you're watching, listening.
Yes, she's a big fan of the show.
Reach out to us and let us know what Heresy Army you're playing.
Yes.
Share those Speed royalties and the Demolition Man royalties.
Yeah, see, I was going to go.
I think it's all Speed.
I looked
2.
at Demolition Man, and but the sort of short form reviews, they were all far too.
Nice.
No practical magic.
Again, it's a body of work to work from, but there's only 3 of you, so I can't. You know.
Yeah.
You missed out her finest film though, which was Speed 2.
I don't consider sequels.
Okay.
Right, so what we're going to take a look at, other than the work of Sandra Bullock, we're going to look, as always, at the new releases, talk about what we've been up to, look at the State of the Union, and talk about the new core missions that are in the book, The Siege of Cathonia.
Correct.
Yes, that's it. Yeah, I couldn't remember what the first word is. And it's, look at that. We're going to blast through this evening. Let's start with, actually, no, one thing. How is everybody? Sorry.
I'm fine.
I'm fine.
Yes.
Okay, well, that was good. Everyone's good.
No complaints?
Yes, no complaints at all. Busy. My game, well, not my game. The game that I've been working on for the last year or so, it comes out tomorrow in beta, so that's super
Okay,
exciting.
that's super
Are we gonna like post something that on like the page or something?
We could put something in the community, couldn't we? I
Yeah,
guess.
because I think.
What do we get?
Cool.
What's the advertising agreement here?
My undying attention. It's free to play, so you're gonna get nothing because that's what we're getting for it. And it is only in beta.
It's all those back end.
It is actually quite. It's actually quite
purchases that get you.
Oh, thank you, Mr. B. Anyway,
Right.
yes. So other than that, all good. Do we put our errata in the
we'll get it out of the way. So occasionally, as we are but mortal humans, we will occasionally make mistakes. It can't be avoided. We don't yet have the internal processing power of the AI overlords that are slowly going to take over us.
Luckily, we appear to have our own kind of, not built in because he's not part of the show, but we do have our own kind of fact checking service built in, don't we?
It's better than having the BBC on hand. It really is. But it was pointed out to us a couple of things when we were talking about the way that Zonal TARDIS works last episode. So the HQ, when you put him down first turn, he's actually half the cost of the points. He's not 4 points, he's just 2 points.
I missed that.
Much more accessible. And also polymorphine was FAQ'd, and I hadn't read the FAQ because I forget there are FAQs after not having read one for 5 years.
Yeah,
That's
it's been out for 5 minutes.
It's not the first thing we do, is it?
Polymorphine, it's not if he makes any attack. It's if he doesn't make I can't remember it now. But anyway, it's not how I thought it was.
Yeah, it wasn't like he had complete. He didn't.
He still can't be targeted, but he can.
But I think
anytime he makes an attack, he's visible. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
it wasn't there that he could.
Yeah, whereas previously, I think it was anytime he only made a shooting attack or something.
Yeah, that was it.
That he became visible. But
he still can't stand in a doorway and just be like, "You're not moving."
Placement there, Mr. B.
I would still take him, and
I wish they were paying us. But
well, I'll tell you how I got on with the assassin because I used one recently in Zonal TARDIS. Actually, not that one, but another one later on in the show. But the other thing, I think there were a couple of people who pointed out that I think also the retinue. If you've got a warlord with a retinue, the retinue I don't think counts either as part of that HQ choice, if you see what I mean. So it's 2 points to put them down, I believe, but we'll probably need to double check that because that was pointed out. But I will say that two people who pointed it out were very nice because they started it with really enjoyed the show first, which is always nice, right?
Soothed your ego, didn't it?
It was nice. It's like, and then they gave us some nice feedback, and then told us,
they went,
by the way,
well,
you're absolutely incompetent. But in a nice way, which is always good. So thank you very much for the people.
It was pretty much only that, though.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest, that's pretty good for us. So we're quick while we're ahead.
Yeah,
but the polymorphine one was an interesting one. Like say the errata on that, which does make sense. Otherwise, it was super powerful. But
it was.
I think, as Greg pointed out, you can just then use that to basically block a door because you can't go through the model. So you can just sort of stick it there and go, I'm just going to block the door.
You're not moving.
Yeah, and you can you can funnel units, which I think is a super useful.
I don't think they can be shot. So
create kill. Yeah, because that unit can't be shot or targeted, so it can stand there and it's still obstructive.
Anyway, very good. Thanks for that, Greg. Appreciate it as always, and for the other people that wrote in to let us know we got it wrong, which is always appreciated. So thank you.
Yeah. Right, shall we crack on?
Yes.
With... new releases.
The shortest new releases. Have you no longer got a subscription to esoteric and very unlikely ways to shoe in stuff.com, Mr. B? Is that because normally we have like 300?
I think it was bought by
militia.
Elon Musk, and now it's
of course, now he's got to pay for it, hasn't he?
Yeah, we rebranded new releases as like Z or something.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Michael's actually changed his name to the equation for photosynthesis.
Yeah.
Okay. Right.
What we got?
We don't have a lot of new releases this month. Only they are. Some of them are. To be honest, most of these are tangential So the first one is Lionel Johnson, the plastic version, getting his own release, £42.50. I only put that in there because a few people have.
Would you use him in?
A few people have said they would. They would prefer this one.
Controversial opinion. Plastic one's better than the Forge World one.
I have to agree, but obviously he's got a shield. But I mean, you don't have.
You'd have to do something with that shield that's got the buckler on it, because obviously he doesn't have it. But overall, as a model, the plastic is superior to the Forge World one.
I do really like the plastic model, and I must admit, I've been reading I read the Lionel Johnson book, and then I was like, I should make an army of risen Dark Angels using just Horus Heresy kits.
I could have sold you one of them. I've just sold my Dark Angels army.
Yeah. The thing is, he's 60% cheaper than the Forge World one.
That's huge.
The Forge World one is £100 now.
Yeah.
So
and the Forge World one's in a really weird pose for someone who's supposed to be a proper sword master. He's in a pose that just looks really ungainly to me, and basically he's inviting some Night Lord that he hasn't seen from behind him to shiv him in the kidney.
I really like the hooded man look.
Mm-hmm.
Is super cool.
You got to admit, Charles Dance is pretty cool though. Lord Veterinary in power armor.
Yeah. I don't know. I wouldn't complain if somebody rocked up and said that's the Lion.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the only thing is he's on a slightly bigger base. He's on a 60mm as opposed to a 40mm, but I don't care.
If somebody's in this hobby and doesn't have a spare 40mm base kicking about,
crush him, so that's good.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know whether I'd have the little gribblies with him.
No, bin all that lot off.
But the rest of it is absolutely bob on.
Yeah, the other one's carrying a flight of bleeding stairs around with him, so you'd just bin that off and all, wouldn't you?
Yeah. So yeah, I think that looks great, and I think that's a super posing, like coming straight at you, no messing about. Really fantastic model. That
grumpy lion is grumpy.
Mr. B, because you'll be au fait with this. What is he doing now he's back? I'm just gonna jump forward 10,000 years.
I've read the book, and basically he turns up, he's woken up somewhere, and he's pulling together an army on the other side. I'm guessing
not a local travel lodge.
Basically, the universe has been split in two by the Eye of Terror sort of going
segmentum,
cicatrix,
cicatrix matters. So he's on the other side of that, to Gulliman, and he's now gathering forces of formerly fallen Dark Angels who are actually loyal, but he's calling them the Risen, and they're fighting off the bad fallen.
And how are they loyal all of a sudden, considering they've been helping a Baden for the last 13 Black Crusades?
Well, they haven't necessarily been helping.
Not all of them were.
Wasn't a lot of Cypher stuff's been retconned.
Yeah, it's going to say Cypher.
It's convenient. Where's he been going to find them? Argentina?
About half of them are good and half of them are bad, apparently.
Hang on.
Because not all of them were in the know as to Luthor's plan.
So the Dark Angels have gone from half of them were good to half of them were bad,
and half of them were just following orders.
To half of them were good, a quarter of them were slightly not as good, and another quarter of them were bad.
That's a hell of a Christmas party, isn't it?
Right? I mean, how do you plan?
How do you know? How do you know somebody rocks up in Dark Angels? Do they have like a badge that says I'm a goodie but a baddie? Sometimes.
Well, to be fair, actually, the Lion.
I went to the Eye of Terror and all I got was this power armor.
My name is Diego Montoya. You sent my dad to sleep for 10,000 years. Prepare to die.
The book is actually fairly interesting because it's like at one point he sort of meets up with a bunch of them who are like, "Hang on a minute, you fired on us. You're the bad guy. We don't like you. Why the hell should we listen to you?" And it is quite interesting because not all of them, because some of them think he's the traitor, and and it's quite interesting that way that some of them have only sort of siding against the Imperium because they think the Imperium ordered him to destroy the Caliban.
Right.
So.
And where's Cypher in? Is Cypher good or bad? Didn't he come back with Gulliman or something?
I haven't read the new Cypher book, but he sort of was with Gulliman. And they were about to enter the throne room together, and then Gulliman goes, "Nah, actually, I'm not going to let Cypher in here. That seems like a really bad idea."
Because Cypher was going to kill him.
Oh, what? Kill the Emperor?
Yeah, because then he comes
back.
That's
why
he basically goes into the warp, kicks all the Chaos Gods' asses for 50 years, and then comes back and goes, "Right, Chaos isn't a thing anymore because I just spanned them in the warp, and let's crack on with reconquering the Webway like we wanted to do before." Blooming one-eyed freak face.
Yeah, the Star.
He did nothing wrong. Okay.
Yeah.
Did everything wrong.
It's yeah. But I haven't read the new Cypher book because that's just come out. So, okay. So yeah, the Lion.
Thank you for that,
£42.50.
Mr. B.
He's not available at Element Games at the minute, which is a bit annoying because obviously you can get him cheaper there, but he isn't. I suppose that's because they've had
decent painter. I would get that model just to paint it.
Yeah,
that's how good
I must admit I am tempted just for that. I got Gulliman to do just for that, and then I decided actually, you know what, I'm going to do Ultramarines. But never mind.
Best mark that I've seen. Okay, cool.
Then we've got a Warhammer 40k paints and tool set, £27.50 or £23 at 38 Ultimate Games. To be fair, if you haven't got any of these paints and you want them, good deal. If not, it's got Mephiston red, Bugsman's glow, Wraithbone, Korax whites, Magos purple. It's a small tub of contrast Magos purple, Macragge blue, Thunderhawk blue. It's a weird mixed match of colours. I'm guessing
blues and purples because it's for Ultramarines and Tyranids,
yeah,
and it's got some biscuity colours as well.
Oh,
yeah.
I see what you mean.
Yeah.
I will say this though: those little snippers, I've got a pair of them. I think they came with the not Imperium box set, the magazine thing.
Yeah,
they're excellent. I've used them ever since, and they're really good.
They're not. Yeah, I've got a pair here. They're not terrible. They're not brilliant, but the brush in there is terrible. But
oh yeah, the brush is.
I got some Mr. Hobby clippers last time I upgraded.
You haven't got the God Hand ones, whatever they are.
No, because I'm
those stupid expensive ones.
I'm too ham-fisted. I'd probably break them. I might get some Redgrass ones or some DSPI ones.
I think what I would say in regards to this set is it's a set that if you want these colours, it's a good deal. But if not, meh.
23.
God Hand ones are no good for GW kits because they're too agricultural compared to the kits that they're designed to build. You look at those kits and your injection port is like 1.5 mil, and then you get your Land Raider out the box and your injection port's like a bit of 2x4.
I've got a set I just got from TT Combat at the UK Games Expo a couple of years ago.
Sounds like my last trip to the doctors. Anyway.
Okay, then the next one, definitely usable in Heresy. So
is it?
Librarian Terminator armor. It can be, can't it?
Yeah, it can be.
Yeah, £24 or £20 and 40 pence at Element Games. You'll have to take off the Crux Terminatus, but not a bad model.
I mean, he looks a lot like a word bearer.
Which bit's that bit at the beginning?
It's the X
the shoulder pads, the cross on the shoulder.
It's the bit that's got a bit of the Emperor's armor in it.
Yeah, it's not bad as a kit, but yeah, it's bigger.
Wait a minute. Hold on. I'll rewind a minute. All of the Crux Terminatus have melted down from the Emperor's armor.
No, there's a shard of the Emperor's armor embedded in it.
I was going to say, Jesus Christ, he must have been about like King Kong.
There's a sliver of his armor contained within it.
Okay.
Well, also, you've got to bear in mind that no one really knows kind of how.
Yeah, I guess.
But his size changes. So does his armor change size? Does he
might have different sets.
These Crux Terminatus
is the basically pants kind of question.
Yeah, if he gets stressed and bloats up, he's like an imperial pufferfish.
All of them were made at the same time, thousands of years ago. So who knows if that's even correct? They might not contain.
I bet you it's a piece of cursed chaos and to bugger them over.
Probably
been slinking in there all this time.
Yeah, you've got a Terminate Librarian, no helmeted option, I'm afraid, but.
Yeah, that helmet does look a bit. I'm not a big fan of that. Still, it'd be good for Ultramarines with I suppose, or something like that. But yeah, okay.
Word bearers.
Paint him red, word bearers. He's got the runes all over him.
Yep.
Yeah, good shot.
Then we've got the Sons of Horus, Decurion Lannis.
Okay, this is time for me to have a rant.
Is this where Grave weighs in on this?
This is Rantsville, USA.
So this guy is more. This guy's more expensive than the Terminator we just.
Yes, I mean, apart from the fact there is that, but I will say this is why the traitors lost the war. Right, we haven't done the figures yet in the thing, but I will say that this one comes with a 24-inch range bolt, heavy bolter.
Does he always have the bolter?
Heavy bolter. That's all he can have. Right.
No. Is that? Does he always have it? I mean, do you have to have the bolter?
Yes.
Now he looks like that German dictator you got accused of looking like, Michael.
He does. Yes.
Okay.
But
here's the thing.
If you then go to the Imperial Fists version, what do they get instead? Let's have a look. They get the autocannon, which is
soft cannon.
One quick thing here.
There's no
you could buy the Sons of Horus or the Imperial Fist one for the mod for the body bit, and turn it into whatever you want and convert it into whatever you wanted.
Absolutely. I'm just saying that the rules, the specific, because these both have separate rules, right? These have individual rules. There's the Decurion thing, and then there's rules.
Yeah, the normal
these
Decurion
two.
is just a guy in a tank.
And you can give them what you like, but these have got specific rules, and it's like, wait a minute, something's not right here. Why does the Imperial Fist guy get a much better gun with the same range than the Sons of Horus?
But what does his other rules do? What does his other rules do?
They aren't even comparable. We'll maybe we'll talk about it next week, but I'm just saying this is why they lost. Okay.
The Decurion is why they lost.
Decurion Lanius, £27.
Unfairness in the system. to sort of semi-quotes Monty Python.
Help me, Graham's being oppressed.
I'm being repressed. Yes, thank you.
Right. And then we've got another model character, created by a friend of ours. But I put her in there because she can be built as just an officer. So you can have her in your, you can have her in your your Imperial Guard as a not Imperial Guard, Imperial Militia. Yeah.
Or your Solar
Auxiliary. Or your Solar as a captain. Whatever.
Nice. She looks great.
Yeah.
Not read any of the books, but she looks awesome.
Books are very good. The books are very good.
Cool.
Last White Shields off Cadia.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So she is £25 or £21.25 at Element Games. It's a made to order thing, so you'll get it within the next 120 days.
All right.
Okay. And that is the new releases for the month, but we do have something. Yeah, I was going to say we do have something from Rob he wants to talk about, and we should probably start mentioning these guys because it's show sponsor. So
I was going to say our friends over at Battlebring released a set of 3D print files for terrain for new Epic.
Show us some pictures, Rob.
What of the stuff I've printed?
Yes.
Hang on then. We've got video stuff now, haven't we? No, that's a picture of Bob Ross. That's not what I want.
To help you get into a Zen paint stain. Actually, have you seen that film that's not about Bob Ross but looks like it's about Bob Ross?
Oh yeah, with Owen Wilson. Yes.
It's good. I enjoyed it.
I don't know whether WhatsApp's just been broken or whether you were planning on firing me this last week, but nobody's actually answered any of the messages that I've posted.
I've said
there's only so many we can answer per day, Rob. So 75 posts in that per day. A lot
of them are about your buildings that you've been printing off.
They do.
I think I put a like under.
I got called John Candy, so you know.
Well, yeah, that's true. You had bigger fish to fry.
I've been in recovery since then.
It won't let me add the video for some reason.
Okay, I will pop it in here.
So anyway, STL's Epic style buildings.
Yes, so there's intact and ruined buildings with there's like aircon ducts on the top. There's post boxes, park benches. Like there's the little sort of greebly things to kind of scatter about the place as well. Four main building files for 20 of your hard-earned shekels. And yeah, my printer has basically been glowing.
Glowing red hot.
Over the course of about 3 or 4 days, I've basically printed out probably 6 B4's worth of Epic terrain.
Nice.
That sounds impressive, whatever it is.
So
nice. I need to sort out some terrain for that. Go and have a look at battleblinkstore.co.uk and their digital products. They do something that I haven't printed out yet, but they do like a power station cooling tower.
Oh, right,
and
nice.
even in Titanica scale, each tower is nearly a foot tall.
Wowzers.
They're absolutely enormous, but I worked it out. They're nearly they come in quarters. You can only print like a quarter at a time, and if you want to save yourself some resin, they do ruined quarters in the pack as well. But if you do a full tower, I've worked like my slicing software has told me it would basically be a litre of resin per tower.
I have no idea what that means in real money.
It means about 25 quid.
Okay, that's still pretty good for some terrain.
Not the cheapest, but like literally a foot tall. Like I'd love to do like 3 or 4 go on this table that I'm building, but we shall see. Depends if anybody buys my Solar Auxilia or not.
Of course, yes, there is that. Okay, very cool.
But yeah, check them out. We'll put links in and stuffs.
Magic. Alrighty. On to the next. Well, that was the shortest new release we've ever had.
I know.
For
no
a
dice,
while, yeah.
no doors,
no dice, no doors, no
peculiar militia crossover.
Me talking about terrain rather than going, Michael, why is all this nonsense in again?
Oh yeah, nonsense terrain. Yeah, of course. Wow.
It definitely is one of the shortest for a while. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Okay.
Let's go.
We'll move on.
So now we move on to the bit where normally we sit and listen to Michael talk for half an hour, which is what we've been up to. So I'm going to start with the member of the House for the French border, which is Chris Mills.
Keep on rolling, my friend. Keep on rolling.
It's almost like you've got something important happening in the next 4 weeks.
There is no time for such frivolities as gluing a model or painting a model. Oh no such time for such things.
That's because you're going to be Mr. Mills officially, aren't you?
Or yeah, going to be, well, yeah. That's it. I'll no longer tick. I'll tick a different box now, so that'd be good.
Yeah. Well, at least it's not a different box for age, because that was the kicker, isn't it?
I think I am in. Yeah, because. I'll be in the 35. I've been in the 35 to 40 box for a while now, so that's okay.
Yeah, next year's my last one in this one because it goes randomly like 35 to 44. I'm 44 next year, and then it's.
Just shut up.
Annie's
just a lot. You just shut
Annie
up.
is freaking out because she's 30 in November.
You know, you do know what I said. You know what I said to Michael.
You want us to be nice to her at the wedding, right? No, to be fair, I understand that. 30 does feel like a big deal, doesn't it?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Not as much as 53 does. Just saying.
No. When you
I retire in 14 years?
Well, yeah. No, I'm saying
you wish.
When you're a nipper and you first realise, crap, I'm 30, I'm old. It's a big deal, isn't it? Once you start getting, to like 40 and 50, it feels less of a big deal. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I get. Well, no, yes, and no. I get where you're coming from.
I mean,
I don't know. Turning 40,
was, rocking on for 50 as well now. So it won't be long before all of my siblings are in their 50s.
That's true. I reckon I'll be in their 60s by then.
Oh, there's going to be a murder in a month's time.
To be honest, I think my mother took me turning 40 worse than I did.
Okay, yeah, I can understand.
She was all like, I've got a son who's 40.
Yeah, that's understandable. Right, let's crack on because I've derailed us there slightly. Yes. Graham, what have you been up to then?
Yeah,
tons. I didn't realise how much I've been up to until I started to look at what I've actually been up to as of comparing us to the last episode. So hang on to your hats, kids, or go and make a cup of tea, depending on whether you're interested in listening to me talk nonsense for a bit. So what did I do? I finished my full Mintaris, Terminator Mintaris, thanks to Rob's 3D printed Cyclone missile launchers, which I stuck on the top of some cataphracti rather unceremoniously. But that's how I roll. Yeah. So they're cool. They're done. I got 8 of them. I think 8's a polite number. I think 10's a bit naughty.
10's impolite.
Yeah, it's that kind of middle ground. And I also, with the cataphracti from the box set, did a kind of chaplain / praetor in Terminator armor, because I didn't have anything in Terminator armor, and a herald in Terminator armor. Actually, I used I bought some banners from Cromlech, so I had one of those kicking about. So I made a Terminator herald, which was cool. I did a box set. So also in the old box set before Heresy 2, there's a chaplain figure. Which I think you can still buy, can't you? Because he comes.
Yes, you can. You can buy a double set with the Terminator.
Praetor. Yeah. So I did I'm making and I'm painting some reavers, some assault reavers. So these are reavers with jump packs, and I've never done jump pack troops before ever, or used them even. So I needed a chaplain to go with them because I roll so terribly, and therefore I require a re-roll of everything that I possibly can whenever I can. So made a chaplain, put I can't remember, it's the single jump pack on him, not the double jump packs. Is that Mark 4 jump packs? Mark 3 jump packs? Yeah. So I put one of them on him, gave him a thunder hammer, and Bob's your niece. So he looks pretty cool. And I'm currently in the process of finishing off 11 of these assault reavers. Again, Rob's 3D printing magnificence came to the fore by printing off some jetpacks and some arms. Of course, getting assault arms is tough. So chain axes and bolt pistols. So perfect.
Pre-drilled as well.
Yeah, it's lovely. Really nice. So I've got them. So they're ready to rock. Painting them in Reaver colours, so black and red. So that's nice colour combo. Yeah, they're going okay actually. I need to get them finished because obviously I need them.
I played against them, didn't I?
You did. They weren't completely finished though. They were kind of in their non-rusted up look. I've actually started to use. Rob will probably disagree with me on this one. I kind of find it quite hard to get the right consistency for a good oil wash, and that's probably because I can't bear the thought of putting anything like a varnish on my models that's shiny. Just the thought of it makes me physically ill, even though I've got a really, really good.
You can matte varnish them after, you know.
I know. But again, we're kind of into faff territory, which of course I will do quite a lot to avoid at all costs.
Well, yeah, you do more faff to avoid the faff than actually just doing the faff.
This is quite possibly true, actually.
For Ross, have been recommended this recently.
Oh yes, okay. Dirty Down Rust.
I haven't used it yet.
Is that the yellow or the normal?
That is the, I don't know, Dirty Down.
Yeah, Dirty Down. Does it say yellow rust or just rust?
Just rust.
That stuff is witchcraft. It's incredible. So do not drink it.
No, I wasn't planning on it. But then again, I have had great luck mixing Mortarian Grime and Agrax Earthshade. And sometimes
Dirty Down Rust is an entire. That's like I have been driving a Beetle and I've just pinched Lewis Hamilton's Formula One car.
Well, I've been using the MiG AK Interactives Rust paint.
Oh yes, the acrylic one or the enamel one?
The acrylic one. Enamels, get out of it. What sort of nonsense do you think this is? Enamels are worse. I mean, they glow in the dark as well.
No, they do not. Enamels go matter than matte. Enamels are amazing.
Oh, I thought they were always a bit shiny.
No, that's the Humbrol ones from the 70s that you brush painted your Spitfire with.
That's right.
We've moved on from that now.
Have we? Okay, that's good to know.
Actually, this is going to be a major tangent, but I feel need to mention it. But did you see that Hornby, who own Humbrol, have just purchased a stake in Warlord games?
Yeah, 25% share in Warlord games.
Yeah.
With an option to buy the rest in a couple of years. Which means
Chris might get his ships for cheaper in an Airfix kit.
Oops. Yeah. That's true. I mean, that's pretty cool, actually. I've got to say that makes sense, doesn't it? Because didn't they do, Blood Red Skies? Their kind of area.
Yeah.
Did an Airfix version of that, didn't they? With Airfix size models, which actually is pretty cool.
Oh, could you imagine? Okay.
Yeah. So that makes some good business sense, I think. And it's sort of in there because it's Hornby. Yeah, they own Humbrol, don't they? Mm-hmm. I've never tried Humbrol paints actually, not since, like you say, the 1970s when they came in a nice metal tin.
Yeah, the problem we had when we were kids, they still come in the metal tin, but we didn't thin them.
This is the only thing I use from Humbrol, only hobby product.
Liquid mask.
Why is it focusing? She's supposed to, liquid mascol.
We're trying to focus on the disco behind you. That's why. What on earth am I supposed to be looking at here?
What's that? What do you use that for, Mr. B?
Well, I've mostly used it for actually bases for Necromunda and.
Was that liquid mask?
So what I do for my tiles is I sort of spray it black, then give about 70% of it with a espresso color spray paint, then sort of patch on some various browns and oranges. I'll then use a sponge to to sponge on the mascol, and then paint it with usually Iron Warriors. And then when that's dry, basically put on any markings, and then I'll rub it off and the mask will come off, and it'll expose the sort of rusty colour underneath.
Okay.
It's amazing for Custodies vehicles because you can paint. Basically, you do all those fancy sort of like red bits as they are on the Forge World bit. Do that first, cover it all in liquid latex mask, then do all the gold, peel the mask off, and you've got that other stuff just already done.
Sounds savage. But anyway, yes, I have been saying
it's a really good product.
I've been using because obviously the black armor's tricky to give it any kind of interest. Otherwise, so I've kind of used the Colt, I think it's Colt paint.
Mm-hmm.
Their black armor they use for just air and kind of riffed on that, but not using the oil wash. I still use an oil wash over the top, but it's quite a light oil wash and it just dulls everything down nicely. So anyway, I've probably got some photos of what I've done so far, but anyway, they're going to get done. The other 11 I'll get done at some point. But yeah, I also did I did tons of stuff.
This is not normally the section where you go, by the way, I've done all of this stuff.
I don't know what happened. I think it's because it seems like it's been about 6 weeks since we talked about this. So Ashadon, the new character in the new book.
Oh, I love what your paint job on him.
It's a great model, really good. He's a fantastic model all round. Really nice kit to put together as well. I really enjoyed it, and that was cool. And I did one dreadnought for the Ultramarines, which is one that I got in a deal with somebody with 2 plasma cannons. So he's pretty cool. So yeah, I've just done loads of things really. I thought I'd kind of gone off the boil a bit, but obviously with the event coming, that's given me an added impetus.
Yeah, I need something to light a fire up my arse to do something different. Because I actually realise I have done something, but I'll pop them in the notes in a minute.
Why? Okay. What have you done?
A Skitari Marshal. That's it.
Okay.
I don't know if you can still use them anymore.
Can't use them in Mechanicum as something like a. Could use them as a HQ.
I don't know if you can use them as the Autarch or any. Not the Marshal. Not what was the name? The unit that had the Sekitari.
Hoplite.
Yeah, Hoplite sort of boss.
Oh, the Axiarch.
Cool. Yeah, I don't know if he's still in the. He might be in the Legends.
Probably not. It's in my Mechanicum list. It's pretty much gotten deleted.
Yeah, it's nice. It's really cool.
I did him. I also did the, and I know you definitely wouldn't want to use this in the Heresy, but they did a special edition Tech Priest of the White Dwarf a few years back, and I finished him.
Okay.
He's got the Black Gobbo as a servitor.
Got you.
All right. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, but yeah, no, I need an event or something that I'm actually going to build something for to sort of.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Into my bottom, I think.
Anyway, so that was me. It was quite a productive month, though, I've got to say. Yeah, all good.
So I suppose that brings us onto me, and
it does.
I've had hasn't felt like a really busy month, but it also feels like it's been a million years since we recorded. So I've kind of done a lot. I mean, No Cut Studios got a cut because I bought a mat.
Excellent.
Nice.
It's winging its way to my Jesus from Lithuania as we speak.
They're quick, aren't they? What did you get?
What
did you get?
I got a custom Titanicus one because I just got it to the same size as my kitchen table, which is a bit random. Like it's 33 inches by 47, but it's like just play on slightly narrower. Because it's not like I'm going to be playing a million points of anything.
To be fair, this is my argument for the whole the weird table sizes you can have in 40k now is those sizes actually fit so many tables. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, so I splashed out. I got the mouse pad one because I'm like, if I'm going to get one, I'll get a decent one.
No, yeah, I agree.
So I've ordered that. I've ordered some MDF Necromunda terrain as well from
very nice.
TT Combat. I got the Cloudbuster that's like nearly 2.5 feet tall.
Lovely.
And stuff to do because I've sold 2 armies since the last show.
Yes, I remember.
I have sold my Alpha Legion Dreadnoughts now live in Mississippi.
Oh, do they? Oh, that's nice for them.
And my Dark Angels are going up to Scotland on Monday.
Oh, very good.
Very good.
So my Solar Orcs are still up on Heresy Trading.
Tough
up for
army
sale.
to flog, that one, because that's probably quite pricey with all those lovely Forge World models in.
It's not. It's the price. It's how much it costs to ship it. Because good
Yeah.
God, has Post got expensive.
It has.
Right.
It's got stupidly expensive in
Okay.
the past 3 or 4 years.
But yeah, we'll see how we get on. I might end up sticking them on Edwards Bay, but I'll keep bumping them, see how they go on. But in actual hobby stuff that is related, like I've mentioned earlier, the printer has been pretty much non-stop. I've gone through about 2.5 litres of resin, if not more. So I've been doing, now I'll put these in the chat if Michael can do the thing where he puts them up on the screen, because I don't know how to do that.
I will.
So I've been printing these little radio telescopes and Nissen huts from the Lazy Forger. Let me do that. There we go. So I've done 10 of the 10 of the telescopes, 10 of the Nissen huts to kind of to have like I watched Contact the other week, so I'm like, yeah, I want a massive line of radio telescopes. They're not enormous, but they're big enough to hide a knight behind, which I figured would be kind of cool. I've done 6 hab blocks as well, which I can't get a picture of because for some reason that's not coming up. Oh no, there you go. There's a picture of some. There we are. That's some of the hab blocks for Michael to link there.
Oh yeah, you've got a proper old Jodrell bank going on there, haven't you?
Oh yeah.
There's a sentence.
You've
got a right old Jodrell bank going on there.
And while I was doing that,
it was all going very well with my presentation to the Archbishop, but I got a right old Jodrell bank on.
Wow.
So
is that a Jodrell bank in your trousers, or are you just pleased to see
that's
me?
got to be a Profanosaurus.
Close encounters of a third kind, right there, people.
While I was doing that, I took the FAF level up to DEFCON 4 with some plants for the Golden Demony stuff.
Cool.
From Epic Basins, so that's on there.
Look at that.
And then basically when I went back up to 28 mil, I've spent a lot of time painting mud. A lot of time painting mud.
Okay. Not
like,
the old quick dry brush with some dryad bark then for you, my lad.
No. This has been a little more involved than that. I'll drag this one into the chat, but don't put this one in the in the thing. That's kind of where these two are where things are at the moment.
I like that. I would recommend, and this is probably you're going to say, shut up, Michael, you know what we talk about, is where you've got little wet patches.
Nice.
Is a bit of gloss wash, like I use.
It's going to get dry. It's going to get dried out a bit. There's a few of the
all right.
There's a few of the dirt tones that are a bit glossier. It'll all get sealed in, but there's no leaf scatter on that yet.
It does look very muddy. I would say realistically muddy, if that makes any sense. But I guess is the look you're going for, because it looks, that looks incredible.
Wants to be bosky. Is the
magnifique.
I think I need to tone down some of the greens. I think they're a little bit too.
There's a certain element of radioactivity going on there.
But that's no bad thing, is there? In your strange worlds.
If you do go into the woods in spring and you see what colour mosses can actually be, you're like, Jesus, wet, that's bright. But I'll tone it down a little bit, and then I'll see about bringing it back up again, if necessary.
It's looking really good. Spectacular.
It's excellent.
On that one, and obviously I've wrecked the tank itself.
Wow.
Which
I'm sure you can start again. You'll be okay.
I think I sent you the video.
You did,
of that one. There is some of that up on the Patreon as well, because I've hijacked the Patreon launch codes from Michael.
Nice.
So
does that mean that you can now launch ICBMs?
no, but I can.
ICBMs? I don't know what an ICBM is.
ICBM.
Intercontinental ballistic missile.
Yes. The sort of thing that your launch codes use for.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I'm putting a few progress bits up on there to have a look. But it's been fairly busy. The printer's having a bit of a rest. Although I have just found some other things that I want to print, but I don't need to print them yet, so I'll worry about that. Gonna get some of that terrain printed, painted in this next coming week, I think.
Gotcha. Very cool.
Nice.
But yeah, it's gonna be good. I'll get a picture of the table when the mat arrives, and I've got the terrain painted. I'll put a picture of the of it all up there. In the chat for someone to link, because I've also sulked off Instagram as well. I've had a paddy with Instagram, so I'm off there again.
Oh, what's the paddy?
I just get fed up of it. Like, it's not doing anything for me. I just find myself going, look at this, and then just like 5 minutes later, I'm picking my phone up again and going, look at this. What for? What? It's not doing anything for me.
Welcome to the 21st century. Yeah. Unfortunately, I agree with you entirely. I don't disagree at all, but it's just like that kind of dopamine scrolling.
It's I kind of agree, but on the one hand, for the podcast, it's incredibly annoying how useful they are.
Yeah, but you're still on it, so if I need to put something on, I'll just send it to you guys, and you can.
Yeah, you should send more to me, because we do actually get people asking, what are the others doing?
Yeah. What are those others doing?
Why
are they even on the show? That's what they're saying, really.
I ask that question twice a month, so I don't know. When I look in the mirror, I'm like, what am I doing?
What are you doing here? Okay.
I'm sure I'm not the only person.
So Very good. That's what I've been doing this month. So I'm going to have a busy week at it next month. I've got 2 Titans to finish next week. So for my Ossidax, I'm going to get them done, which includes the Pugnus Potestatis, the Fist of Power. The Iconoclast will get finished next week.
Nice.
And yeah, then it'll be more painting mud, printing plants, painting mud, and I might eventually actually realise that I've got to paint the bleeding tank to go on top of it first.
Yes, that's a good idea.
That's the thing, isn't it? It's getting to that point.
Yeah. But you've still got plenty of time.
Well, I don't know, because they might go, actually, we're going to have another one. But one thing I've really been enjoying, and I'm going to give someone else a bit of a plug here. I've been listening to the Cult of Paint boys, but their Culture of Paint shows that they do as like a 2-hour podcast that they put up on their YouTube channel.
2-hour podcast, chumps.
I know, amateurs, aren't they? But it's all kind of... It's all like full-on painty talk, but not kind of like... It's not like a kind of sitting there going, oh, no, you're amazing. No, you're amazing. No, you're amazing. It's all really useful, really good, insightful kind of chat. So go and listen to Henry and Andy and Rich and everybody else talking on Culture of Paint, because your hobby will be enriched for it.
That's very true. Very true indeed. Okay, cool. Lovely. What's next out the bag then?
Games played. Your department.
That will be me then. Well, Michael actually played.
I've actually played 2 games.
2 whole games.
You just stopped putting my name in the list there.
Yeah, we're just like, it's not even going to bother now, Rob. Just like.
Just you wait. Just you wait.
Just okay. We will wait.
Yeah.
Go on then. Actually, I'll go. Shall I go first? Chris, I'm assuming you haven't got much to add to this conversation.
I've not played anything.
I've built 5 of the new Terminators as well from the new 40k box, because they're just gorgeous.
Oh, the big Terminators.
Yeah. I had a word with somebody I know who was splitting a box, and I was like, sell those Terminators to anybody else and I'll burn your house down.
as your normal negotiation skills come into the fore, there.
Their response was, with
please don't, not after last time.
No, he said, with how wet it's been at the moment, I would probably shake your hand and congratulate you for effort. But,
job well done. Okay, so games played. So I've been playing a really cool little mini campaign with Anthony, where we kind of decided that we were going to not play with any kind of traditional lists. We're going to try and play with themey lists only.
I like that.
So we'll play part 2 of that. So this is my Solar Auxilia and Militia, and Mechanicum, which I don't really play, but this is a good excuse to use them. And he's playing Militia, Mechanicum, and Demons. So we had the second kind of battle, 3,000 point battle. This one, really good fun. But the Demons are actually pretty tough. Luckily for me, though, in this particular battle, I managed to snipe with a tank his summoner. So obviously you pay for the points for all your demons, and you have to summon them in. And of course, if you've got nobody to summon them in, then they're just going to sit in your reserves doing nothing because you can't bring them in. But he got one set of demons in, and it was like, oh my god, they're seriously tough. And of course, I'm running Auxilia, so you got strength 3 guys against toughness 5 demons. It's a bit tricky to do anything against them with those lovely las rifles, which do nothing. So, yeah, but really, these are super fun games, and they're sort of played more in the narrative style than the competitive style. So I was not even sure who won that one, to be honest with you. But we also had part 3.
That Anthony did, just so we're all clear.
No,
on
I think
I don't know who won that game.
No, I think I won that one. If truth be told, Phalanx and stuff. They did, because they're pretty good. Oh, sure you did, Mr. B. You're gonna that's fight talk. That
sniping from the corner.
Yeah, and then part 3 we had a Zone Mortalis game yesterday. So in this particular thing, I was backed up my solo auxiliary with a assassin from the Coluxus assassin, actually the anti-psycho one, who had been sent with a knight errant, no less than Mr. Garrow himself, to try and find this psyker and whoever's pulling the strings on the planet that we're fighting on. Tracked him down.
So you had 3 HQs in your list.
That was where we bent the rules somewhat, but we did agree beforehand it was okay.
Oh,
we also played
3 HQs anymore.
No, but in Zone Mortalis.
Oh, Zone Mortalis, yeah, of course, yeah.
But we also played it in the blip style, which you haven't actually got in the main rules. So basically, we would just deploy blips into the Zone Mortalis thing, and you have to discover what. So that added some added tension. So that was cool. But Anthony had some. You can't use demons in Zone Mortalis apparently for a variety of kind of rules conflicts. So he kind of put them in as Ogrins because they're kind of similar stat line. So, but that worked really well. We've got some.
I didn't realise they were banned from.
There's something I can't remember the exact reason why you can't do it, but there's something
you can't
about
deep strike.
Yeah, well, I think there's something about that and the way
they haven't really added demons as an army yet, have they?
Yeah, they're not really.
Yeah, they're not an army.
They've got to come in on the table edges. So
they're a summoned army.
Yeah, exactly. So you can't really do it in Zone Mortalis apparently. But anyway, either way, it was really cool fun. The assassin was pretty good actually, particularly against the militia because of the minus effectively 3 that you get to if you're within 6 inches of him from his leadership. So he's got fear 2, and then he's got the whatever it is, the anathema rule.
Which assassin was it you used?
The Coluxus one.
Coluxus, oh yeah.
Yeah, the psycho one, the anti-demon and psycho one, because he was basically there to hunt down the kind of infestation that was putting these demons through the warp. And Garrow was there as well. I haven't used Garrow before. He's kind of like a reasonably nothing more than a
because their
normal
things are different now, aren't they?
Praetor. What's that?
Yeah, because they don't have that stupid.
They don't have the oath of moment rule anymore.
Yeah. So
we've got to kind of kill the HQ, or else you lose the game automatically. So yeah, but I mean, he's basically like a Praetor really. But it was good and themey. I like the idea of it, so we put him in. But yeah, the demons. We had all the Ogrins. He had a big 10-man Ogrin squad, And there's not really a lot you can do about that, unfortunately, with your solar auxilia, because you're wounding them on 6s. And they're
squishy humans go squish.
Yeah. So it was cool though. I will say this though, the solar auxilia command section and companion squads are pretty useful. They've got some good stats. They've also got 2 wounds each, which I didn't realise before, and a 5+ invuln. So yeah, not a bad choice. There's also come up with an interesting rule question, which is obviously there's a HQ, but a Terrico's a single HQ choice, but made up of potentially 3 units. So we kind of went with that each unit you had to pay 2 points for to deploy, rather than putting all sort of 3 units down, which would have about 600 points. But yeah,
the thing is what they come under is, because are you paying the points for a Force Org slot?
Yeah, you're paying for a Force Org slot rather than the unit, so you would put them down together, I guess.
No, I think we kind of went with you, because there's something about the reserve rules and how Terricos are treated as reserves, as separate units rather than one unit. So anyway, it was all good. Also, you use the beast handlers, the militia beast handlers, with the crocodillos, although they were kind of demons, but they. You kind of use demons but use the crocodile rules for them.
The ones you guys slagged off when we were talking about.
Yeah, I mean, but they're great against humans, because they're toughness 5, so they've got a lot of wounds. They're tough to get through. I mean, I think Marines would probably do a number on them, but yeah, they were really cool. So yeah, I did manage to. They did the big demon squad or Ogryn squad did manage to cause Garrow and the HQ to run. Fortunately, the assassin didn't. So the assassin kind of went down in a pummeling of Ogryn fists, but Garrow and my HQ managed to escape. So, but anyway, we'll find out what happens next for that one. Mm-hmm. So yeah, really good fun games, and they kind of lead on to some good story every time we play them.
That's what you want, isn't it?
Yeah. I had an intro game against Iron Warriors as well, which was good. And at the start of June, I had a 3.5k game against Daniel Salamanders, which was a big old sort of massive slugfest, but that was a draw, so that was good as well. And there was some game against some Chancellor with Imperial Fists.
Yes, there was.
That I had to suffer through.
Is that your games then, Graham?
That's it, yeah.
Okay, I had 2 games this month. I played one game against was it Emperor's Children or Alpha? It was Alpha Legion, but it was sort of a purpley Alpha Legion. It was quite nice army, actually. And it was a 3,000 point game, and I won, but I think I lost. It was what's the one where you have to get into? It was the same mission we played, Graham, where you have to get into the other deployment zone.
Shatter Strike.
Yeah, Shatter Strike. I won because I got 1 unit in, and my guys were able to basically knock down his main troop unit that was able to get forward. But it was a close run thing. I did lose. I mean, Sigismund and a squad of Templar Brethren went in, took down a squad of Terminators, and then used melter bombs to destroy a dreadnought. As we discovered,
how much is melter bombs for the Templar Brethren?
Yeah, melter bombs for Templar Brethren is a little bit. I'll be perfectly honest. It doesn't feel right. It's 25 points for the squad, no matter how big the squad is.
Yeah, that's what it used to be, though.
Yeah, but everybody else, it's 10 points per model.
Yeah,
but
I'm basically able to. I was basically just,
Yeah, but I'll give you. Yeah, but
it doesn't feel right. I'll be honest, Graham. It doesn't feel right. They do feel quite overpowered. But as we pointed out,
it in.
2 of those squads with Land Raiders, they're like half my
they're
army.
2+ armor, power swords, extra attack, extra wound, melter bombs.
Yeah, shocking, terrible.
Got a super cool HQ model if they want.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Can be lines and scoring troops with the Night War.
Combat shields, give them a 6+ invulnerable save.
Yes, no, they're great. But anyway, they won. I put the photos up in the thing, but I had a Leviathan Dreadnought, a
vehicle. They get to do a load of cool stuff as well if they've got the right wall.
I have the core of most of my armies, which is 2 Land Raiders filled with Templar Brethren, Sigismund, Fafniran, Apothecaries, with shields, melter bombs, Solarite Power Gauntlet that's mastercrafted.
Of course. I mean, why wouldn't you?
Tools. It's 1,000 points there. The Kratos, which Yeah, I think I regret giving it autocannons, even though that's why it works well with the Legion, but I'm struggling to figure out what rule it fulfills.
What
did you have again? Sorry, my connection broke up for a moment.
My squad was it was all it was 2 Land Raiders filled with the brim with Templar Brethren, Sigismund, an Apothecary, combat shields, melter bombs, Solarite Power Gauntlet.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
the big 2. Did I hear Sigismund and
Sigismund and Ran? Yep, always taken together. Right. And they will mince through stuff.
They will. I don't know about you, but I've got a Jodrell bank on right now, just listening to that list.
There are a couple of Sakarans in there as well.
So anyway,
and my scouts,
I listened to the brief for the event coming up, which said narrative, and took a narrative list. But basically, this was effectively me bringing a small butter knife to a small exchange of tactical nuclear weapons.
Shall we go through the list we're going to take to this event, Graham?
Yeah, go on then. You start.
My list is Templar Assault, obviously.
Beautiful stuff.
Fafnir Ran, Sigismund, 2 squads of Templar Brethren, 10 men squads, all with combat shields of Excelia, melter bombs, and the Sergeant at 1 squad has a what do you call it? The Architect pistol. And the other guy they both have Solarite Power Gauntlets. They're in Land Raiders with combi bolters as the pintle mounted weapon. They are with a Contempt Dreadnought with a heavy bolter and chain fist, sorry, and a scout squad with Nemesis bolters.
Did you change your points there? Did you get that right?
Yeah, my points are I'm over pointed on the list I sent in. I sent in Recon Marines instead of Scouts. I forgot there's a difference between the two now.
There is. Anyway,
so yeah, I thought that was going to be okay. I didn't think it was going to do particularly well. And then I played Graham and it's a lot more powerful than I thought it was. A lot more.
I don't know if it is, to be honest with you, if I'm completely, I don't have a particularly powerful list. So that obviously, but you go against people with Terminator armor, for example, that might be a more accurate reflection of average heresy, because the power weapons and your guys, for example, would shred my Reavers, which is what I had lots of. So I went for I've gone for a Reaver Assault. So Black Reaving, Right War, which basically means that Reavers and Reaver aggressor squads and attack squads are troops. So
you kind of mirrored each other, really.
Kind of, but this is my point, which I referred to earlier about the difference in the fact that the Imperial Fists get everything, and everything else that the Sons of Horus get has to be basically pried out of the dead hands.
Let's be honest.
Games Workshop.
They didn't have to turn traitor, Graham. That's all I'm saying. They didn't have to turn traitor.
There is that. I mean, but just to give you some context, just in terms of, I think we worked out that the Templar Brethren and the Reavers are almost, there's not a lot of difference in the cost, but there's a huge amount of difference in the effectiveness of those two units. However, I've kind of realized that I can't complain too much because I run Caesarean, and that the same applies to them. They're also in that kind of bracket. And I guess, you could probably argue the same for some of the World Eater squads, with their rending 4+ weapons and stuff. But anyway, so I've got a Centurion, because you have to have a Master of Signals. It's a tax. So Master of Signals tax for this Rite of War. Bear in mind, Michael's Rite of War has no downsides. Just want to, or does it have something obscure like, you've got to kill everything that you see?
Let me just. Scrolling to the Imperial Fists bit in.
This list is only bad on the 30th of February.
So Templar Brethren have to be compulsory.
Oh no!
Yeah, absolutely. Can't take more elite and fast attack choices than they have troop choices.
Oh no! Being you've got Templar Brethren, why do you need any elite choices?
You might want to take some Terminators.
Oh yeah,
or a dreadnought.
Or a singular dreadnought, yes.
And any particular attachment in the army with the law decisions, and all attachment in the army that include an attachment with the right of war must have a variant of Legion of Starter special rule.
Oh dear.
So yeah, no, it's not massively.
No. So I've got to take a Master Signals, and I cannot take any more heavy support choices than fast attack.
Okay.
So there's some downsides. But anyway, this is my list. So I've gone Master Signals with nothing, just Master Signals.
And this is for our event in Derby, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes. Then I've gone for the new HQ choice, which is actually, bizarrely enough, pretty handy.
He's really good.
Verenashadden kicked Fafnir's bottom.
Oh, yes.
Which was nice. Simply because he's got...
unlucky dice on the day.
Initiative 7.
Well, yeah, he's got basically... he has the, whatever it is, Sudden Strike 1, so his initiative's +1, so he's going to basically be going at initiative
7.
Initiative 6, which is more Fafnir ran at 5.
Yeah, he's at 5.
Yeah. So that meant I could give
Where
him
did I
the
get 7 from?
Don't know. Give him the old Vorpal sword, snicker snack, and with his AP2 initiative axe, which is awesome. So yeah, he's a really good one. He's actually better in not this particular Rite of War, but he's the first Reaver, so he gives line to any Reaver squad that's attached to the retinue, and he's got a retinue.
He is absolutely incredible. Really good character.
Yeah.
I actually went out when and I'm like I need to get my I'm hoping the Imperial Fist equivalent guy in from the book is just as good. So I'm like,
yeah, he's also got a great rule where if he fail, he can reroll his invulnerable status if he's in a squad without characters, or without consisting of all independent characters. So that's pretty handy as well. So he gets a reroll for his invuln. So yeah, he's a really good character. He's worth the points. He's with a retinue of 11 Reavers, and I've got 2 guys with lightning claws in there, Sergeant on 1, and then a Reaver aggressor squad. So this is my first foray into the world of jetpacks or jump packs.
They were good.
Yeah, but they die really quickly. I mean, they are too.
That was only because they took on a flipping dreadnought.
Yeah, that's the problem. That's where
everything's gonna.
Yeah, I haven't got
that
anything.
will do it. Like
I've got a power fist.
The truth of every unit.
Yeah, is that they're going to struggle against dreadnoughts, and dreadnoughts are just super tough. Unless you've got melter bombs, Mr. B, which he had, and he did. His Templar brethren ripped my poor singular dreadnought to bits. So I've got a dreadnought with the classics.
To be fair, if I didn't have the melter bombs, I would have no way of dealing with the dreadnought in that list. So I would have to take what I keep complaining about. I would have to take a Las Cannon squad.
Las Cannon squad, yeah, definitely. Or Thunderhammers.
Also, Thunderhammer Terminators.
Yeah.
With shields. That's what you want, Mr. B.
But I think you need more than 4 because the dreadnought's going to have 4 attacks, so you can basically kill 4 of your squad before. So you need some resilience there, or get lucky that he misses.
If you give them all the shields, they've got a 3 up in vulnerable save.
That's true for the Imperial Fist, absolutely. So they would do a good number on him for sure.
Yeah.
But anyway, are they going to be as cost efficient as 10 Las Cannon guys?
That's a very good point.
The thing is that you can do more with them.
That might be a good idea for one of those.
And you're not taking 10 Las Cannon guys, which means that
I mean, 10 Las Cannon.
If you're going Templar.
Go on, sorry.
If you're going Templar Brethren sort of inspired list anyway, I think a number of Terminators.
I agree. It would be more thematic.
Perfectly.
It would be more thematic.
Yeah, but then
you could make them
2 Land Raiders and a Spartan, then, which does make.
You will hear me make this argument.
Yeah, but you deep strike them because they can deep strike.
Yeah, you will hear me make this argument a lot of late, that I'm not liking the current meta in the way that the 10-man Las Cannon squad is basically almost compulsory, because without it you struggle to deal with Terminators.
It'll be interesting to see.
You'll hear me complain about that a lot.
Yeah, I think the 10-man Las Cannon squad is just so useful because it does so many things well.
Anyone who takes it, because I've taken 10-man Las Cannon in before, but to do other jobs. But it just feels like in this edition, because you've got that to deal with Terminators, they've become
dreadnoughts.
Yeah, that's right, dreadnoughts. It feels like
dreadnoughts
it feels like they become a compulsory option.
They're a good combat, but I mean, bear in mind, most people are going to potentially be rocking 3 dreadnoughts.
Yes, yeah.
Even if you put a house rule in, which we'll talk about maybe in another episode, of 1 dreadnought per 1,000, a Leviathan takes some serious stopping. So you're going to need something to get through them. They're just ridiculously hard to stop, and that is
they are
probably the best way of doing it. But yeah, anyway, back to my list. I've got the attack squad, which I'm looking forward to playing with jump packs. I might even deep strike them because I've got the Master of Signals and got a Nuncio box.
And who is this person? Just out of interest? Deep striking jump troops.
Well, I mean, the thing is, deep striking is so dangerous. I'd have to pick my target to make sure there were no augury scanners. But the problem is, you don't even need an augury scanner to intercept. You just need to go, I'm going to intercept with your reaction in the movement phase. So, you're asking for a kick in if you're going to deep strike.
It's a very handy squad.
And again, but they're okay. But again, like I say, 3+ armor did take its toll. Reconnaissance squad, so I've got a 5-man reconnaissance squad. I always think they should do better than they do, but my problem is I can't roll above a 4, so their rending 5+ becomes somewhat irrelevant because I can't roll above a 4. So they could, in theory, give a dreadnought a couple of wounds if you're lucky, if all 5, because I'm hitting them on 2s because I use the Master of Signals to attach that squad, which does mean they can't infiltrate, but I'd rather give them the +1 to their ballistic skill.
Yeah.
So they're hitting on 2s.
It was a good list.
Recon squad, and then I've got 2 sabers, one with the Volkite, 6 shots, Volkite, strength 6, and one with the stub autocannon, which is actually usually does pretty well for me because it's a 5+ rending, but it's only 2 shots, but it's twin linked. And then my heavy support is the Omega, which I was kind of hoping would do more, but Mr. B dealt with it very quickly.
I did. I blew it up, but that was just luck.
But yeah, I mean, that could be quite useful. But again, it's 1 tank, and it's not that difficult to get rid of 1 tank.
No.
So yeah.
But again, I'd argue that my blowing it up is not necessarily indicative of what its actual result.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, you played a very good game, Mr. B, and I should have done better in playing the mission and realizing where my strengths lie, which was running the hell away from you and getting into the deployment zone.
You didn't do too bad, but I think I only won because
I should have done.
Because you
there was not a lot of my army left.
Yeah, I mean that was the thing. I won on the number of units destroyed.
Yeah.
We both had a unit in the deployment zone, and we both had do we both have a denial unit in?
I can't remember. I think those 2 things just cancelled.
You had your saber, didn't you? That's not a denial unit, is it?
Yes, it's but it still scores 1 point in that mission. So that was in the deployment zone. I had a squad in the deployment zone. And you had
I basically won on the amount of units destroyed because
you tore me a new one. So yeah, but yeah, I think it's just bad choices on my part that led to that inevitable defeat. But I don't think it was anything other than that. It's just it wasn't like it was an unbalanced game.
I'd say there was a degree of luck. I'd say there was a degree of luck, Graham, not necessarily bad choices.
You played well, Mr. B.
Perhaps, but I played
Take
well.
the compliment, Mr. B.
No, I'm saying I got lucky on that dice roll with blowing up your Omega, because I think if I had not have done that, it would have turned out very differently.
Yeah, I guess I might have been able to stop the Land Raiders, but yeah. Anyway,
the Omega would have given me some real issues.
Who knows? But yes, so it was a good fun game though. I think that's the main thing, and it was a good practice to know what the army can't do if I'm faced with Terminators, for example, and there's in this event or anything else that's got a 2+ save. So yeah, that's me.
Send in your Warlord.
Yeah, I think he's going to have to do all the heavy lifting there.
Yeah, because he is incredible.
Very good. Okay, cool. That's it, I think, for all the games played.
Okay, right. Shall we move on to State of the Union, or our small State of the Union?
Cool. Or our commitments for next month.
Oh yeah, commitments next month. Well, I'm going to do a what do you call it?
Tactical squad.
Tactical squad. Yes, tactical squad. I've got a tactical squad I want to finish.
All right. I'm going to finish my Omega because it's not painted, and then I'm going to get a 10-man Lascannon squad for my Sons of Horus because I bought the stuff for it just after it being the default thing. I think they are a little bit on the weak side, so I think
I've got the same for my Imperial Fists, and I'm like, should I? I bought the las cannons, and I'm like,
even if I don't use them in every game, they're there if I need to.
Yeah, I might do the same,
Particularly if I'm playing people with lots of dreadnoughts, because it's just so hard to try and chunk your way through.
And I need to do my Scottish list, don't I?
Oh, do we? Christ, when's that?
God, it's October, isn't it? Oh, God, we booked accommodation. I don't think we actually finalised that yet.
We haven't.
We'll sort that out.
Okay, cool. And then once I've got that out of the way, 10-man Lascan squad, that will probably be the Sons of Horus-ish. Then I'm back onto all the backlog of tanks that I bought in a fit of craziness to add to my already big, massive amount of tanks that I've got from the Ultramarines. But I'm going to have a lovely looking army when it's finished with like a full-on armoured cavalry thing. It's going to look great.
I'm tempted to bring a couple of lists for Scotland to the show next episode and get you guys to decide which one I should take.
Alrighty, very cool. And Rob, what about you?
I am going to finish the Iconoclast, the AT Iconoclast, and my second Warbringer, so that will take me to 21, 22 Titans.
Wow.
Wonderful.
It will be. Then it's going to be full steam ahead on, I'm going to have a right Jodrell bank on.
That's going to be a thing now, isn't it?
Yeah. Yep. And so I'll get on with that, and then I've got the hab blocks to do. The Nissen huts. I've got the Nissen huts to do. There's little guard towers and stuff which you can't make out in that picture, but I've got some like MDF bases coming for them all so that they can kind of, I'm not worrying about them falling over or anything like that. So I'll get that all sorted out, and then I'll probably spend more time painting more mud.
It's exciting.
Not to show the mud, are we?
No, but unless you join the Patreon, and then you can see the mud, basically.
Yeah.
Give us $1 a month, and I'll show you my mud.
Yeah.
And then hopefully by the next time we record, the tank itself will at least be primed.
Cool. Will that go through some bizarre ritual for its priming? Will you have to sacrifice some geese or something, or some particularly rare birds that migrate only once every 15 years to the Himalayas and have their down plucked by candidates who were once considered to be the Dalai Lama but didn't quite cut the mustard?
I could theoretically prime it 3 times to get it smoother and smoother each time, but I don't think I'll bother.
Oh no. Half-arsing it again.
I've got 500 grit primer, 1,000 grit primer, and a 1,500 grit primer.
That means literally nothing to me. I'm like black paint. There we go. Job done. Smashing.
So
I think maybe I need to get a new airbrush.
Okay. Well, we look forward to this exercise in the nth degree. Yeah, but it's good, isn't it? It's fantastic. I'm looking forward to it.
It's therapeutic.
It's very cool.
I felt like Alan Bleeding Titchmarsh.
Not this year, but next year. Maybe we should get you to do a video diary for your demon entry.
If I could figure out how to film on my DSLR, because it seems to stop every 30 seconds.
That's annoying.
Then
that's usually because that's as long as your porn takes.
Good lord.
On that note, Mr. Mills, you flattered me 30 seconds.
Good lord.
Oh yeah, it's when you get the people on the TV programs. You're like, we've got half hour free, and I'm like, wow, that's ambitious. They're my age. I know that's ambitious.
Okay.
State of the Union next.
Let's do that.
Time for State of the Union, when we actually start talking about what's going on in the world of heresy. And to be fair, not a lot this month, because we're all very much concentrating on the small union. So a lot of focus that we're putting on it. We're going to put all the epic stuff out of the way, or legions imperialis. So shall we start with Rob?
Yes, indeed. Yes.
I may have done that on purpose.
I am dripping like a badly made egg butty for this. This is gonna be
what a phrase that is.
What an image.
Amazing.
What a,
So it was teased at Fest. We were in the room.
Yep.
And yeah, battle on a new scale, whatever. So they're basically amalgamating Aeronautica, Titanicus, and then they're bringing the infantry in. Aeronautica and Titanicus are still their own thing. They're not phased out, although a lot of the Aeronautica planes have disappeared.
Aeronautica is going for now. It's being Heresy Aeronautica will remain, but normal Aeronautica is gone.
Oh, is it?
Aeronautica disappeared. So the Orc planes have all disappeared. The Eldar planes have all disappeared.
Didn't they have TAL as well?
They did, and Necrons. So they've just got. They got rid of a few Imperial Army stuff as well.
Okay.
Stuff that they're not going to be having.
The Valkyrie and the Vendetta.
Yeah, Valkyries and Vendettas.
Already
just to purely kind of put it in the Heresy setting. So yeah, we've got teeny tiny. So it's slightly bigger than the Epic.
I always thought that was a nice model, though. Actually, I've got to say, the 28mm.
What's that?
Valkyrie Vendetta.
The Vendetta.
Yeah.
There's one. There's one in a box in the loft.
Do they still use it in 40k?
Yeah.
Just in a plastic kit.
I might crash
the Valkyrie, the one with all the upgraded las cannons, I think, is now a legend unit.
Okay.
Yeah, but the cannons for it as well.
The standard one is fine.
Okay, cool. It was a cool looking thing.
It's been put into the same scale as Adeptus Titanicus and AI, so it's a bit bigger than Epic used to be, for those of us who remember it. But the box has a force of solar auxilia, so you can now get plastic solar auxilia. Much like you can now get a plastic Thunderhawk. Nobody specified what scale they wanted them in.
Yeah, there's lots of speculations because I think they said these are 32mm or whatever, 28 scale down.
The 8mm scale,
yeah, they're 8mm. So there's an interesting article
plans for the.
Well, as the guy who I can't remember his name, but we were at the Ford World Open Day when they first unveiled Titanicus, as it were. The Open Day before Titanicus came out, and we spoke to the guy who did the Titans, and he basically said you can't do them as just in that scale. You've got to make them work. You have to do them in 28 and then shrink them down.
Yeah, there's an article in White Dwarf this month about it, because the Malcadors, for example, are rendered basically from they're like 3D scanned, because the Malcador was actually hand sculpted, but then they're amended because obviously you can't fit every rivet that Phil Stachinska's put on a Malcador on an 8mm Malcador.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the guy said for the for the Reaver and the Warhound, he basically took calipers and was measuring every little bit, and it took him like a year to do each one, rebuild it in 28mm on CAD.
I mean, I would have sent it to a 3D scanning.
That's what I was thinking. Wouldn't that be a lot easier just to put it to?
I would have sent it to a 3D scanning shop and had it back in a week. But hey,
I suppose it depends on what they had. And maybe I'm guessing
it would have also meant a third-party company having 3D scan files of their IP is probably more
because they could have done it. It's 3D scanners, and that tech isn't massively expensive.
Well, I'm guessing.
We use them at work, and
I was going to say because you do that, don't you, for custom pieces and stuff?
We will 3D scan stuff all the time. So
I would personally guess that what they've done is they've essentially designed the CAD files from what they had. So that if they ever need to redo the kits, instead of having to redo them by using the hand stuff and going back to that, they can just essentially redo it from the CAD drawings. Because if you remember when the Warbringer Nemesis came out, they redid all the Warhound weapons. Sorry, not Warhound, Reaver weapons, and they were different than they were. So I'm guessing that one of the reasons for doing it that way is they can essentially rebuild the stuff in. Yeah, I'm just speculating now, so ignore me.
So basically, getting back on point. Yeah. the box has the Solar Auxilia in, so you've got Lehman Russes, Malcadors, and men with fishbowl helmets, and then there is the Marine side. So you've got Predators, you've got infantry, there's little Terminators, there's command units, there's special weapons units, there's 2 Warhounds in there with new weapons that have not been done in plastic before.
Oh yeah.
The shock lance.
I had all this down for people to talk about in a minute.
So, all right, okay.
It's all good.
It's you get whippy sticks, you get the rule book, you get templates, and it's about being able to recreate the biggest battles of the heresy. So we're not quite talking the operational level, but we're talking moving from tactical up to divisional.
I still don't understand why they trust people like us with whippy sticks.
Because most of us don't get excited when the word whippy and stick are put together in a sentence.
Don't we?
But we've already been your own somewhat suspicious, it must be said, affliction for a whippy stick across the bottom. So, that's you. You do you. We're not going to judge here. We're open kind of podcast.
First manager at the GW store I used to work in, he used to quite like being disciplined with a wooden spoon, apparently. That came out. He ended up being an area manager for Workshop, actually.
Well, there you go. Whippy sticks is only one step away from that, Mr. B. So watch yourself.
Whippy sticks and spoons.
Anyway, with that lovely image in mind, so what do we think about all of this malarkey then? What's the plan going forward?
16 aubergine emojis followed by an equal 16 splash emojis.
We've already given your predilection for arousal. For those of us somewhat less enthused, I like the idea of the game, don't get me wrong, and I like the idea of, Bane blades and the like at that scale.
Tank companies.
Big tank companies. Yeah. Although you did shock me earlier by saying that allegedly the barrels of your...
There's no allegedly. The pictures are on Warcom. Let me get you the picture.
Tiny little tanks.
When the Porphyrion came out for Adeptus Titanicus, people were saying this thing's in as many pieces as the 28mm one.
Right.
And that looks like it may have been not borne out, but where's the blooming article gone?
I am excited. I'm looking forward to it. I think initially I'll probably concentrate on getting my Titans and Knights up to a level that I feel would be great for the game, and then I'll go beyond that.
I'm
pre-ordering the box. Where's the thing that they linked the other day?
There's I put a link in the chat.
There you go. You can, if you have a look at those sprues, Graham. If you have a look at that picture,
I don't think I want to.
You can see.
Can I not just labour under the false impression that they're going to come out like micro machines, basically?
Pop out.
And
do you want me to build them for you, Graham?
If I've got to arse about putting a barrel on a Sicaran at 8mm, 100%, because that is never going to happen in my lifetime. I have enough trouble. There are bits of kit that I go, nope, not even going to bother.
Well, why don't you concentrate on the what you call it, the Titans then?
Because it's a game with tanks in, Michael. Who are you talking to?
Well, you could just do it. Let's see what the actual force org chart is like. You might be able to get away with Solar Auxilia as just a big tank company.
But I like tank. I like the Sicaran tank.
That's what.
I'm with Graham. I'm not.
It's not the Solar Auxilia tank standard, is it? It's the Sicaran standard for a reason.
Yeah, go on. Say what's that, Chris?
I'm not too fussed about the infantry, if I'm honest with you.
Yeah, me neither.
All the infantry I've seen so far are in Mark 4 armor, which I appreciate they don't want to faff around with.
Mark 6, you mean?
Oh, sorry, I always get the 2. I get my 1s the wrong way around the Bs. I just want to play it for the tanks. Totally. I'm blasé about it. I thought I would be more excited, but now it's here. I'm just give me my spaceships. That's what I want now.
I can see that.
Give me my spaceships.
I know I used to play the video game. I can't remember what it was called now. It might be called Epic Armageddon.
It was Epic.
Yeah. I think they gave it away with GOG a while ago.
They did, yeah. It's a cracking game. But that was
have it actually, I think.
So it was a turn-based game, wasn't it?
Yeah, turn-based. Yeah. But that was basically using all of the Epic stuff. So you had Bane Blades and Lehman Russ squadrons. But I would almost certainly not worry about. I know they're going to say, "Oh, you need to get." I bet there's going to be some sort of weird troop tax where you got to take infantry. But there's no way on God's earth I'm going to paint infantry.
Possibly.
With the best will in the world.
If I can have a whole load of Lehman Russes, and it's the Russes that I'm more excited about, the auxiliary tanks, than I am the Space Marine tanks.
Got
Epic Final Liberation.
That's it.
Epic 40k. It's 489 currently on GOG.
It's a cracking game.
And it's what, 30 years old?
At least.
It was released in November 30th, 1997. So it's nearly 25 years old.
Still a good game. Still hands.
They've just released the next. They've just previewed the next.
Didn't that have like cutscenes and stuff in like video cutscenes?
I don't think it did. Not that I recall. But it's been a long time, 25 years to be exact. So yeah,
I just wish I put it on Steam.
I would love to do, and I'm going to do so I'm going to do Iron Warriors. I've decided because it's less faff.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I'm spray silver, few dots of yellow, done.
Perfect. Few dots of yellow. Agrics.
Don't even try and do the stripes. Just
there's no way I'm going to do black.
You can probably buy a transfer sheet that's going to have.
Even transfer sheet.
Even I would say transfers on that scale can do one.
I'm going to do.
Fair enough.
I'm going to do what do you call it?
Or on shoulder pads anyway.
Yeah. I think I'm going to do Iron Hands.
Spray black, done.
Spray black, spray green, done.
Spray black, get rules wrong, done.
That's how we roll.
Upset all of the Iron Hands players in the world.
All three of them.
We should do an Iron Hands army.
Yeah. Oh, but then again, Ultramarines, I don't know. It's just like my entire Adeptus Titanicus Legio is the Fire Wasps, and they're very much,
See, I've got
Legio
Mortis, so that goes perfect with the Iron Warriors. But it would be super cool to do a full-on. It would just look amazing. I think
it's like when the way that I look at it, people say, "Oh, if I won the lottery, I'd have this massive game where I'd have everything in 28mm, and I'd have Titans, and I'd have all the aeroplanes, and basically, and you look at it and you go, I'm going to have 50,000 points aside, and then when you think about that, you go, right, that's going to take you a week to set up, and each phase for each player is going to take a day. A game is going to literally take 6 months, and you'll have forgotten what happened beforehand." By the time you get it done,
and if you didn't get turn one,
you write a war diary out. That's what you do.
It would be about Axis and Allies.
It'd be like hello, twice as long as the actual war that it was set in.
I must admit, I would love to play something like that, but I know, as Rob says, it would be completely impractical.
But you could do this with this, couldn't you? That's the point. I think
that's the point. You shrink it down. You get the essence of it. You've got your aircraft coming in. You've got your Titans, which are basically battleships in.
It's going to be so cool.
All I'm saying is, at some point, we're going to go away, hire a little cottage or something with a big table. We're going to play a big campaign weekend with what do you call it?
Battlefleet Gothic.
Battlefleet Gothic on the Friday night.
I've got all the spaceships.
Yeah. Then we're going to move into some epic, followed by a bit of a mainline, and then some Zone Mortalis. I can just see it happening.
And at the end of the weekend, my prostate will be inside out.
I would just like to play. I think it'd be good to play like a big game of Epic, depending what the rules are like. I imagine they're going to be pretty slick if they're like the old ones.
I like the idea that they'll have taken some hints from modern game design, speeded it up, smoothed it down, but still keeping it granular. Like that support box they've just announced, where you get 4 Leviathans, 4 Rapiers, 4 Derrideos, and 4 Tarantulas.
I would expect the way things work in Titanicus to be very similar to the way things work in Epic.
Yep.
Yeah. Alternate activations, but they'll probably bring in things like reactions as well to sort of keep that ebb and flow thing going, where there's something for everybody to do in each while your opponent's doing something. So it's not just kind of, I've done what I've done, I'm going to go to the bar for half an hour, I'll come back and tell me what's dead.
Yeah, but I definitely see us.
I don't think I'm going to buy the box. I've just realised what's in the box set. It's all bloody infantry. So there's 2 Sicarans and 3 Predators. And on the Star Auxiliary side, what have you got? Some Las
Russes
man.
It's it's a good starter box, but
Demon Russ's 2 Malkadors. Yeah, I'll just buy the tanks off somebody.
Yeah.
Well, I'm obviously buying.
There's going to be a troop tax in there. I will not be able to do this. There is no.
I don't think you'll get round it without having infantry. But if you're doing Iron Warriors, then you're saving yourself a lot of fat.
I have to
the thing to bear in mind, it's got to interact with Titanicus rules.
Yeah.
So,
which, bear in mind, when a volcano cannon can wipe out an entire banner of knights in one shot, the PBI are going to have a hard time.
Yeah,
it's going to be grim.
So,
yeah, your solar auxiliary las rifle section is going to struggle somewhat.
I think, but then it's going to be a different. You've got to then think about the points to ratio, the point scale ratio. So,
I don't necessarily think that's going to
a lot of points in Titanicus. It might be a lot of points in.
Yeah,
Warlord might be 1,000 points in Epic.
I would probably want to play a game where there's no infantry, just tanks. Titans, planes.
I get
right there.
They're giving very strong hints that you will be able to do that because it's been done in detachments. So you might need a command detachment, which is accurate. So you might need a few stands of infantry basically hid behind the building at the back.
Is someone playing with their microphone there?
I think it's Rob's mic hitting his beard.
Oh, yes.
Is that better?
Yeah. It is. How bizarre. Your beard has got something to say.
All right, man.
It's trying to communicate
beard
with
has
you.
become self-aware.
Yes.
It's got the Patreon launch codes, though, not the nuclear ones, so we're all right. We don't need to get Linda Hamilton on there.
Shall we talk about what's in the actual box set, then?
We just did.
Did we run down all of it?
This is going to be an open source conversation, I feel.
Okay.
Don't Mr. B gets very upset now. We're off page territory where he gets really kind of shaky.
I did see a photo in one of the Brighton Epic group, as it now is, of a Baneblade in a picture.
Yes, I saw that.
Basically, lots of people are going to go brr at this because there are already files out in the wild for every possible thing. I mean, I may or may not have all the infantry in Mark II that was sent to me by somebody, but I'm not printing any because I don't know how big they are yet. However, will I be printing some? Probably.
I can imagine that I'll probably do a mix of printed and purchase, to be honest.
I'll be getting everything when it comes. Like I'll be pre-ordering everything as it comes out. They're gonna get the coin off me, but I want some variation.
FOMO edition. But yes,
I mean, if I can get laser tank hunters for the solar rocks and stuff like that, then I know I can get them for.
And the other ones, I mean. So we shall see. Anyway, in terms of new, I think it'd be a cool game. I think it's got the capacity to be super cool, and
it's got that thing for where it you could
bring the kind of epicness of the heresy to
the Company of Legends thing. You turn up, your first game is Battlefleet Gothic, then you move into this, then you move into or you go Battlefleet Gothic, then Titanicus, then this. Then Frontline, then Zone Mortalis, then Kill Team.
We tried that for 2 events and it didn't really take off. I think people moving multiple armies.
No, but you could just do that as like an invite-only weekend.
That would be the only.
I mean, we probably have to do
like
this.
Mates stuff. Then
we probably have to do this just ourselves first.
I wouldn't think it's something you get, but I think to do that, it's not like a commercial event. I think you'd have to do it, and this is what we want to do. Everybody needs to get
an invitational. So this is what you need. This is what you need to bring.
We're going to hire this. We're going to do this. This is what you need to bring. This is the games you're going to play.
I think it's definitely something we're going to do. And even if we don't do it with a lot of people, we'll definitely have you, me, Dave. Well, I say you guys, me, Dave. Couple of other guys.
I probably wouldn't put mainline into that mix because I think there's better way. I think I would just leave it in this kind of scale. And
it'd be a lot easier to transport if you did it in this scale.
Yeah.
The best way to incorporate all these games in one event is to effectively run a very big event with multiple systems running their own campaigns
at the same time
in Company of Legends style, interact with each other to tell a broader story. So Battlefleet Gothic goes on as this is my Project Dawn theory, an idea.
Okay. Go on then.
So one event would be Battlefleet Gothic over the weekend. People want to play Battlefleet Gothic, they come, they play 5 games. With that tells one element of the story. Now we have this, whereas it would have been just solely Titanicus. This tells a story on one planet as a macro look at the war. You've then got Mortalis as its own event, skirmish scale games as like stealth ops, that kind of thing that people can pop in and out of, and that's not necessarily run at the same event. And then you've got normal mainline 30k as one city or one siege of one particular place, as we often do in Company of Legends. And that's how I would incorporate all of them, their own events with their own stories, but those stories all run in parallel with each other to tell. Or the Battlefleet Gothic would be set just maybe like a few hours ahead or something like that.
Yeah.
And you could still have it have an effect.
You could, couldn't you? So like the Battlefield Gothic round could impact the epic round, for example, and the epic round could influence the frontline game round, and the frontline game could influence the Zone Mortalis round.
Yeah, they'd all affect
and vice versa.
All affect the next. Yeah, exactly.
In a big
the mainline 30k wouldn't affect the others. It would just affect the be the major contributing factor towards how the war goes, if that makes sense.
Yeah, because you'd probably get more people wanting to play that, wouldn't you? But yeah, I guess
so
you'd have to kind of
have that. But yes, I think I've kind of penciled out a way of making it work.
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
Because
if you put the event up, you might.
But this is
you might get everybody just buying the tickets for 30k.
Yes,
for example. So we'd have to try and work out how we could balance that. It's a good idea. It's a great idea.
One of the things
you're running an event.
Yeah, sorry, go on. No, you guys go
on. I think if you're going to run a pure heresy event, because we've seen it with Titanicus at events where a lot of people have gone and played it for the weekend.
Yeah,
we saw it at Blood and Glory. We see it. Titanicus has lots of its events. We know that crowd is there.
Yeah.
The Imperialist crowd are going to latch onto that crowd or be the same crowd. So that market's there. So, and if you can get them to think that they're going to have an effect on what's going on and they're involved in a broader conflict at the same time that affects the table with the guys in the other room and possibly their mates in the other room, I think that's a good selling point.
Oh yeah,
the Battlefleet Gothic element is the trick.
You could do one way. You could do it, which would lend itself more to an invitational as well, though. But you could do it as a team event, so you had a Battlefleet Gothic player,
such a snob,
an epic
keep
player.
all the people out, doesn't he?
Well, it would be a team event because it's
reports.
Because there's only 2 sides.
Go to Malta.
But get your private member groups to yourselves.
Yeah, it's not my fault. I only like a dozen people.
That is true.
Well, that's your fault.
I think
they're not always the same dozen and all, so be careful.
Don't lie. You don't like a dozen people. There's no way you like me.
There's no way you like a dozen.
I like you enough to sit here and talk to you.
True.
Without getting paid.
I'm not a big. I would do it with friends. I wouldn't do it as an invitational event.
I wouldn't do it as an event.
I think
you invite people specifically, but I'd do it with friends, like you say.
That's
what we mean. I think that's what means.
Here's the thing: invitational events to me seem a little bit wanky.
We've always been
when we say invitational, when I mean invitational for this kind of thing, it would be. I mean, my idea was us guys just hire a little cottage somewhere with a big table and just play.
But that's a different thing.
Yeah.
That's you and mates chilling out.
Or our mates. Just say to our mates, right, we're going to do this one weekend. How about we hire a place? We probably know enough.
Probably doesn't like half of them, apparently.
We split the cost between, I think,
he likes half of them.
I know half of you less than I should like, and like less
but no,
than
I think just hiring a village hall somewhere near Graham or me or whatever, and like, because we've got plenty of mates around here, so.
Yeah. Okay. So before we get too stuck up on the Davos of heresy.
Yeah, we wouldn't do a Davos. We wouldn't do a Davos. I don't think I could be.
Anyway, what we're saying is, bear in mind, we're arguing about something that we haven't even thought about yet, and we have enough trouble writing a 30k event. Never mind writing a 30k event, an epic event, and a Battlefield Heresy event.
All at the same
time. This is not a new idea. That's all I'm saying. This is not.
You're the one who said we should.
I've started writing an event which basically is lending itself into what this has become.
There you go. So
the only event I'm writing at the minute involves some pie eating, and it is a Warhammer event.
it would be awesome, and I think we'll have to see what the rules are before we kind of start jumping to making the ultimate event kind of thing. But I think it's a good idea, Chris. Like you said, it would be super cool to do that, particularly like say if you ran it. If you run it at scale, it would almost become its own.
Legion of Legends is the name of the event. It's got its own name already. You've got Company of Legends.
Sandra Bullock's coming to judge the painting.
Yeah, we need to trademark that quickly. But I think it could be awesome.
I've got it all mapped out in my head. It's
okay. Good. Very good. Okay, cool.
I go there when I'm having a sad day at work. I just go to the special event in my head.
Nice. I absolutely love it. Okay, so I think. Overall, some of us are very excited, some of us are kind of ambivalent, and some of us are, this could be really cool. Let's hope they don't make a mess of it and make it all infantry only, because that would suck.
How cool would it look though if you could be bothered to just have like a sea of hundreds of Marines?
It would, yeah.
Until somebody walks out with a Warhound with a flamestorm cannon and just goes, take them off.
Is it the chap at Mini Wargaming that's got like 50,000 points worth of
ultra? 100,000 points of ultra.
I've never watched it because even from the stills that you see on YouTube, I know he's far more excited about everything than I could possibly ever bring myself to be about anything.
The thing with YouTube is, and I know I'm not good at it with our channel yet, is the thumbnail has to do a lot of the work thanks to the ruddy algorithm. So, it is kind of one of those.
Well, next time we meet up, we'll get a thumbnail of me strangling you, not in a happy way.
Actually, you know what? Surprisingly, that would actually probably.
There's another type.
I was going to say,
I went to this event and I didn't stab Michael in the face.
Yes, that actually you would. I'm not kidding you here. That would
because he drifted off like smoke, like he did at Warhammer Fest, literally.
That would actually be really good. I'm not actually kidding. I wish I was kidding, but that would actually bring in. Yeah.
There you go. Title of the episode: we recorded and Rob didn't stab me.
Just Google Dave Mini Wargaming Army.
Yeah, I've seen it. It's like it just disappears out a shot in the background, doesn't it? It's like.
It's some of them are there. Yeah, the man has got too much time on his hands, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah,
but that in epic form would look no less epic than it does in 28mm form. It would look,
wow, super 44,000 points.
I'm not kidding. I'm gonna build a massive epic army at some point. I just don't know what I'm thinking. Iron Hands, but I might betray my principles here. And do
but if you can't do a massive epic army of Iron Hands because they're all dead.
Yep.
That is something.
Hey, look, at least you're gonna when it comes to the Primarchs, at least it's one less head to worry about. That's all I'm saying.
It's true. There's one less face to paint in epic scale.
That is insane. That Orc army. That is absolutely insane. It takes up a flipping warehouse.
8mm Primarchs. They're gonna look cool.
I hope we get Monkey Magnus again.
I imagine they'll come as boxes of all the loyalist and all the traitor ones. You'd assume they do them as separate boxes. But
Forge World will do.
Anyway, so I think
is this all? That's the point. Is this all plastic? Or
is this all plastic?
Resin.
It's all plastic.
Okay, cool. Of course it is because they're resin plastic sprues, aren't they?
Mainline game, baby. Mainline game.
And the new dire walls are in plastic as well.
Yeah, we're not worried about them. They look awful.
They're the best Dreadnought.
Let's not go there. Let's go on to the next section before we spend all of our time arguing about normal.
Also, it's nice to see the tarantula come back.
Yes.
Yes.
I am hoping that you can go into service with the Aeronautica side, though, because I really don't like Xiphons. I want Marauders and Thunderbolts with my Marines. I want Imperial Navy, not Marine flyers.
It'll be like it is in the codexes.
Yeah, I think that's probably true.
The Astartes books, rather.
Well, I guess I'm doing Solar Auxiliary as well, and basically I'm having a Duxford wing.
You can ally them in, one assumes.
Is maybe my plan, or the Mighty Eighth.
Anyway, on to other news.
There is no other news.
Everything else? GT Combat released some new prefab sites. We always like a look around their sci-fi.
Yeah, well, I've just dropped some money with TT Combat for some terrain. So,
righty.
Let's have a look what you could have bought.
Let's see what you could have won. Oh yeah, that looks like sci-fi housing.
Yeah, it's octagonal though, which is infinity to me.
It is in fact for infinity, isn't it? I believe.
Oh yeah. It definitely looks like it'd be more at home infinity, but
Michael will be able to understand this because I was getting confused on the TT Combat website the other day. Everything they do has a picture of theoretically what is a clock.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean?
I don't.
Is that
know.
how long it takes to put together?
I think.
Is that how long it takes to arrive?
Yeah,
is it what the sundial says when they took the picture?
I think it's kind of how. I don't know exactly, but I believe.
Is it a faff factor?
I believe it's how complex of a kit it is.
It is for infinity, that, yeah. I shall link the one that I bought, just so that you can...
If it was your painting, you'd need like 5 of those, wouldn't you, Rob?
Well, I don't know. I think I make stuff hard for myself.
Clock, wouldn't you?
I think I make stuff hard for myself because you watch the top guys.
You think you make stuff hard for yourself?
Well,
Let me tell you, my friend.
But you watch the guys who really do know what they're doing, and they do infinitely better than me in like 5 minutes, and it's like, all right, fine, sod off then. So yeah, I
still think they would work with Heresy as well, to be fair.
I've got that comment that I've just linked in the chat.
Let's have a look. Oh yes, yeah, but yeah.
Ooh, yeah. Wow. You sound like bloody the Churchill dog then. Oh yes.
Oh yes.
Oh, that's really cool. For next
that is super cool. Wow, that's amazing. That's a big old kit.
So you got it's over 2 foot tall.
You've got like 4 days worth of work there by looking at that.
That's why I was like
histogram. Yeah.
That's that. And then what else did I order? I ordered.
Yeah, because the others have got. They're like 10 minutes to put that together, no bother. And then yours has got like solid rings of pain.
Yeah, and then I ordered this one as well. Basically,
serious kit.
Well,
that is
£62. That seems like a massive bargain.
It'll practically fill a 4 foot table because you don't have to build it that tall as well. You can do that as 3 lower sections that are still basically nearly a foot tall each.
But that is only £62. That seems incredibly cheap.
But it's all laser cut MDF. Bear in mind, it's not.
I know, but even so, I mean, considering you could probably get
material to
get a singular flipping,
That's the same price as the gang. It's the same price as the gang Stronghold, which is 1/10 of the volume.
Nice. Go. Yeah. We should ask them for sponsorship. They're awesome. Okay.
I mean, I can.
You should. Go out there.
Point out that I just bought those 2 things, but as you're asking them and say, we just dropped this, and get onto No Cut Studios while you're at it.
Say we're doing say we're going to do an expose of assembling
an expose.
Arriving tomorrow. It's arriving tomorrow. Is that long?
Sounds
like
the
map or the terrain.
A special feature on their terrain. Okay, cool. Mr. B, you're next out of the gate.
I am indeed. And Warhammer Communities asked, what type of painter are you, in an article on the website. I actually think it's interesting.
Reluctant one.
Yeah, I think it's interesting enough that we might make a feature of it one month to sort of talk about what the different types of painters are.
This one.
It's all right. It's sort of just said, are you a person who plans for an event or does everything last minute? Do you test and stuff? And I think that I would be a plan and paint on the record painter, which is someone who looks at the sort of like the lore and stuff of how the units are painted. So to try and get them right.
I mean, can you be more than one category, just out of interest?
Probably.
I certainly test my colours and I plan and paint, but I do also all do this at the last minute. So, can you be more than one category is what I need to know.
But I actually think that's interesting enough that it might be something we could come back to and talk about another time. What type of painter are we?
I'm definitely not I do not, go through do I? That's interesting.
Surely everybody's a bit of all of them, depending on the circumstance.
Yeah.
I would say so.
I'll get the paints that I want for that army from my collection of paints, for example, and I'll get them, assemble them, and then paint. But there are times I think, that'd be nice if I put some turquoise in there, as you do, that kind of thing. So I wouldn't say, but I don't follow a paint scheme. Usually I kind of tend to make it up and then see what it looks like and go, yeah, that seems about right, based on advice from people like Rob or other places. But I don't follow the Citadel, just the Citadel kind of guide to how to paint this, for example. I tend to work things out a bit like prototyping. Do one model first, and then
I am quite boring. I do like a guide.
You do, don't you? You don't like going off piste when it comes to painting.
I do like it when there's someone who's sort of said, "But this is how I do it," and I like to look at the way they've done it. But then I don't necessarily will follow the same thing for every army. Like I might say, okay, well, I take a little bit from this guy how he does his leather. I take a bit from this guy and how he does this, and then sort of put it all together. If that makes any sense. So
totally.
It's not like I just slavishly follow a guide for this is how you paint
or slavishly, because you don't have to be from the Baltic countries to follow anything.
Well, I think it helps, to be honest with you. Okay. Slavish. Okay. Who's next out the gates? Good article. Maybe we should. I think
that would be me. And yes, there were strange noises indeed when plastic Cerastus Castigator and Acheron were unveiled, as I called after Fest. Meh. Shut up.
It's all meh.
No, I was the same. I was very excited about these. Very excited about these.
Yeah, I am going to have to exercise severe restraint, even though I've already got a Cerastus that isn't made of plastic. I'm going to have to utilize serious restraint not to get a plastic castigator.
I have 5 knights and I've never used them. Well, very, very rarely.
If I do, I will get one.
There is.
I will get a plastic Cerastus. It will be a castigator. When I get it, depends on. Let's just say I'll get the Macarius finished first, and then I'll think about whether I want to get a plastic castigator.
Yeah, they are cool. They are cool looking things, I think. And yeah, maybe
I will get one at some point, but I don't know how.
I'd like a knight army. I'd like a full knight army, just for people to go, oh well, I've got all these dreadnoughts. I'd be like, yeah, they're only little. Wallop.
Probably wouldn't actually work out like that. I think the dreadnoughts would probably take him.
Probably giving you a shoe in, yeah, probably.
Yeah. But yes.
Yeah, just if anybody is in Mississippi, specifically near the Jackson area, if your gaming meta has drastically changed in the last week or two, I really do apologise.
Yes, it's the Alpha Legion, already a bit of a dodgy bunch of geezers, suddenly get an influx of massive dreadnoughts.
10 dreadnoughts,
I already have a knight army, but it's all Questoris pattern. No, there's one Dominus, but you can't use Dominus in 40k at the minute. Sorry, not 40k, 30k.
Yeah.
You can't use the Dominus in Heresy at the minute. So I will be getting the same. I'll be doing the same, Rob. I'll be getting one of each.
Cool. Okay.
Okay.
Right, so do you want to learn more about the early days of Citadel and Games Workshop? The guys who were there at the time were Talking Miniatures, published by Shaggy Dog Publishing, is out now. It's powered by Robin Dews.
Oh no, it's not. It's like at the end of August.
John Standard can be ordered now from Warlord Games for £55 and is shipping at the end of August / start of September. Some of the details I pre-ordered
this.
are not correct. There is also, if this is of interest to you, Ian Livingstone did a book.
Yes.
I think it came out just before Christmas last year, called Dice Men.
Dice
Yes.
Men.
And it's been on my list to buy at some point. And that's about the creation of GW as well, and he was the co-founder of the company. So
He was.
And there's the one that I linked the other day that John Blanche's Archivist is releasing at the end of the year, called Grim Dark, a guide to a very British kind of hell.
Yeah, which I'm looking forward to. It was an interesting article. That did look like an interesting book. That thing that we've talked about, I think, on the show, which is the time that things like Warhammer 40k came out, and things like 2000 AD and that kind of general British. I think they called it in something Decline in the Post-Industrial Age or something like that. That had a profound impact on the media at the time.
Well, yeah, I mean, like Judge Dredd, there's a whole story arc of how the Bob Monkhouse block goes to war with the Bob Hope block, and they have like block war, even though it's set in Megacity 1. Bob Monkhouse was never really a thing in the States, but it's a British comic, so it's like Bob Monkhouse versus Bob Hope, and it's like the Battle of the Bobs.
Classic stories, but I think there's something very interesting about that, and the times reflecting the things like 2000. Because I mean, looking back at our 2000 AD stories, I'm thinking they could probably never even publish these now, for young'uns. And I read it when I was like 9.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, 70s. But yes,
I don't know. They weren't all that bad.
Really?
They weren't all that bad, but there was a lot of them that.
Do you reckon the fellas with belly wheels would be allowed by today's standards?
Oh, okay, maybe.
Do you reckon Dredd's personal robot would be allowed to have his speech impediment as a source of comic relief?
Yeah, probably not.
Okay, maybe there is some.
Do you think they'd be able to put in a comic a graphic depiction of a nuclear explosion in Mega City 1, basically going mile by mile, including flesh melting from bones? What they did in the
that I can imagine get away with,
they get away with that. I think
start of the
look. I think what was
that war? There was a war, wasn't it, between the Sov block and the
the Sov war. Yeah,
the Sov war. Yeah, but that was Captain Shank and his he nuked Mega City 1, which was quite cool.
Yeah, and
reading that as a 10-year-old in sort of like the middle of the Cold War era,
and the racial stereotyping of the martial arts expert.
Yeah, we had that. We had that conversation the other day when they launched Fred's, and
or even Slain the king. I mean, that was crazy. Anyway, let's move on. We could do a whole podcast on. There's probably many very good podcasts on.
The caretaker at Hendrix's school is absolutely covered in 2000 AD tattoos, like
Bisley tattoos.
Like every time I see him, I don't dare, because he's a big fella, he might pull my arms off, but I just kind of want to go Zarjaz Inkwork Earthlet.
And it'd be really weird if he just thought they were nice pictures and he picked them off the tattooist kind of
flash pieces he picked off the wall. He's like, what on earth is this
idiot
you
talking about, you crazy idiot? Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Judge Death coming out of his arms. That sort of look cool.
Yeah, great stories as well. The
what was the Fist of Dread?
City of the Damned. Fantastic. Anyway, 40 years of Warhammer. Yes.
Yeah. It's not cheap, but
anyway, 4 years of Warhammer sold off the Imperial Knight from its origins to Old Epic to today's 28mm.
I would quite like to see one day, and it cost an absolute bleeding fortune, but there was the Centaur Knight. The old Knight Paladin, as it was called, was actually 4-legged.
Oh, yeah.
There was an Eldar one, there was the My Little Pony Eldar one in Epic, but there was an Imperial one that had 4 legs as well.
I don't remember that.
I'll find some pictures.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Not the Paladin, but there was an Imperial one that had 4 legs.
They look really weird, don't they? Those knights in lead.
Yeah. Little dinky and
very cute.
Managed to be dinky and chonky at the same time.
Just like me.
We've got but it's like now we've got good old Legions Imperials coming back. Hopefully we'll see some more knights and stuff. So the Deep Cut Studios released a new mat, a jungle mat. So if you fancy fighting on the Death World of Catachan, there you go. It's quite a nice mat.
Game.
I did look at that. That's what.
Catachan still exists in Heresy.
I knew you were going to say that.
Speaking of Catachan, right? This is a thing that I have discovered that I should have put in the new releases, and we know that I'm not a massive fan of AI, and I don't really like things that you can talk to. However, I have discovered the greatest use of AI ever on YouTube. David Attenborough's voice doing 40k lore.
I did see a link to
and
that
it is flawless. Like there's one on what it's like on a Nurgle planet, what it's like when a Tyranid hive fleet invades. There's what he does, like a 20-minute description of life on Catachan. He does the creation of a servitor, which if you don't want to sleep and want to have nightmares, listen to that.
Oh, does he do the demon Kalaba?
No, he does the fact that this guy's just been arrested on a Mechanicum world and they just pin him to a wall and chop his arms off without any anaesthetic and turn him into a servitor until the guy sticks a mechadendrite up his nose, and after that he never thought in words again. And that's basically how it ends.
And that was just for jaywalking.
It's horrific.
Oh yeah.
But the simulation of David Attenborough's voice is unreal. It is amazing. Go and subscribe to it, because the more people subscribe to it, the more
likelihood these are going to get shut down by copyright.
The more they'll do. No, because he's not got anything copyrighted. He's just writing what we know already. He's just discussing, like we are, running it through a simulator that just happens to spit it out in
this
David
case,
Attenborough's voice.
I don't think it'll be GW that shut it down, if I'm honest.
No, neither do I.
It might
be the estate of David Attenborough.
No, it won't be his estate. He's not dead. Don't say that.
You know what I mean.
Okay. It might be his legal team then. Yeah.
Honestly, when his brother died,
unlawful reproduction of
using his that's
voice.
That's definitely.
Well, you best go and listen to it quick then.
We will.
When his brother died and the alert popped up on my phone, Megan saw it first and she was like, because she thought it was David rather than Richard.
Yeah, well, I won't be around that day.
Both equally.
It was both. Pretty bad.
Yeah, but we're used to Dickie Attenborough dying, because the first thing we saw was Wing Commander Bartlett getting shot in The Great Escape.
Yeah,
that's true.
We've been prepared for that.
He was excellent in that.
Still, a family that produced two people like that.
Brighton Rock.
Miracle on
the films of Richard
Miracle on 34th Street. Gandhi.
If it had been his birthday today, we wouldn't have had Sandra Bullock. We would have had Attenborough instead.
What about Dickie Attenborough? And the intro would have taken 2 hours, just like his acceptance speech for his Gandhi Oscar.
Yeah, very good. Cool.
Okay.
Who's next out of the bag? Rob.
Moving on from No Cut Studios.
Again, they're people you need to badger for.
I've just given them money. Never mind us getting free stuff. I've just given them money. But they are based in Lithuania, so they just might. I don't know what our listener figures are like in Lithuania.
They might be busy.
Probably about as high as my standard of Lithuanian.
Actually, we've got very big numbers in. We always have had. Ukraine is a very popular listening post. Cool. Anyway, let's go.
Yeah. So so we have a new loyalist champion, and guess what? He's in Mark 6 armor, because of course he is.
It's ridiculous.
I think we all said we liked him, but without the helmet.
The helmeted version, just like, well, you're not actually in Mark 6, are you, Chief? Because you've got a Mark 5. You've got a different gorget. You've got a different breastplate, cuirass, whatever you want to call it.
How we would put it in 40k terms is he's in artificer armor. Well, even in actually 30k terms.
He's basically wearing the same suit of armor that the Emperor's Champions wearing in the Banyard's Revenge. But the Mark 6 helm does not suit that model. The bareheaded one looks really good. Any Ultramarines players are going to be after that head. And it's really nicely painted as well. It's a bit more subtle than some of the ones have been recently.
It's nicely painted, isn't it? That black's lovely, actually. I was just looking at that, thinking how nice that is.
Yeah.
I would...
Nice bit of implied reflection.
I like how they've got...
the fading on the tops of the... leg guards are really good.
Yeah,
and also
it's definitely one of the best painted I've seen come out of the heavy metal.
The shiny balls are nice. on the.
Yeah, he's got nice shiny
Wow,
balls
okay.
on his
We know,
pauldrons.
we know where Graham's looking at straight away, don't we, ladies and gentlemen?
Yeah.
Straight to the shiny balls.
Nice little nods to the
Not
character
the guy's
models,
big
because
chopper.
on
We're looking
his
straight to the
Straight
shiny
to
his-
balls.
shiny ball.
non-bobbly shoulder pad, there's like the 3 little vents like the
Oh.
Praetors in the box set have got, which is a little nod to them. The sword, yeah,
Nice,
I
actually.
suppose he gets Paragon Blade, doesn't he? Or he can take one.
I hadn't thought about doing that little. I've got some swords. I think the power swords in the box set have got that little knobbly bit in the middle of the sword. I thought, I wonder what that is for. So there we
That's
go.
the power node.
Power
Yeah,
node,
that's the
pretty
bit.
cool.
That's where the power comes out of.
That's on most Space Marine power swords. It's just usually more towards the top.
Yeah, but Graham's only new to close combat rounds,
Oh,
close
right.
combat unit, so
Yeah,
it's
he's
bear
Sons
in
of
mind
Horse.
it's
Yeah, it's
an
still new
entirely
to me.
new thing for him.
I think I
he
would
built his
probably
first. He built his first bolt gun when John Malkovich was still building his gun out of home cast resin. But as far as stabby things go, he's still a bit of a noob.
Yeah, it's true.
Am I going to buy the model? No.
No.
I have
don't
a
really like
champion
it.
already.
It's a bit
pretty much.
static. It's a bit static. It's like, yeah, okay, we get the kind
Then
of
again,
regal
so
kind
is
of.
the champion that we've got right now in Mark 4 armor.
I just think both his weapons are too big for him.
Yeah, and yeah,
He doesn't look like he's good at one thing more than the other, and he's having to carry that bolter, which looks.
he's not got a strap.
bigger.
He's not got a strap on that bolter.
No, but it looks massive when you see it on the side-on profile.
Yeah.
It looks really,
Yeah, it really
big and
does.
cumbersome. And then he's got a sword that's taller than him. It's like you're trying to. He's either good at one thing or the other. He's not,
Yeah, I would be tempted to replace the bottom half of that arm that's holding the melter gun,
Yeah.
the combi melter.
I'll stick it on the sword, mate.
I don't know. I think I've got a champion for pretty much every army that I want a champion for. So
It'd be interesting to see how that is component-wise. Because if you look at the shot of it from the back, it weirdly looks like that bolter is actually indented into the arm to make it not take up as much space.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
So
Yeah, I see
just bin that arm off. Put another arm in with like a combat shield or something, even if he doesn't have the rules for it, like a buckler or something to make him look a bit more choppy, or a traitor's head
Okay.
in his hand or something like that.
I mean, that whole arm probably comes as one whole piece, though. Probably.
Yeah, probably. So there is an option
down the
there
shoulder
because
pad.
of the head as well. There's an option there for an alternate Sigismund,
maybe.
which I realise
Anyway,
you
yeah.
will find is heresy. In heresy, but
I know what you mean. I kind of see it.
if you don't want him stood on
Right.
half a Sakara and go with his tactical steps or whatever it is he's carrying around.
Okay, let me grab him.
Okay. Anyway, so moving on, Chris.
We're totally not getting through these missions tonight, are we?
We're not in a million years. Okay.
Not happening. Not
Uh,
happening.
first
we
one's
might
rubbish.
have-
Second
might
one's
do it another
average.
episode.
Third one's rubbish. Fourth
We'll
one's
do it
rubbish.
next episode.
There you go.
Okay. Right, Chris, up to you.
Hello. Blimey, we haven't heard from Les Grongard for a while, but it's good to have him back in the list.
Yeah, I hope he's doing all right. I heard he hasn't been well.
What do you mean nobody tell me?
I mean, it's been a hard few months with Les, but he's back on his
Back on his feet.
his feet, and he's offering us some new what's-the-majiggers. Let's see what the new what's-the-majiggers are.
Yeah.
In fact, now Les is back on 4 feet because he's got some ponies underneath him.
Yeah,
He's taken up riding, and he looks pretty jazzy.
Yeah. And speaking of horses, though, something I mentioned just yesterday, Victoria Lamb of Victoria Miniatures fame, the real oligarchs army, the army for oligarchs of oligarchs. She's released a Kickstarter for horses of her own, including a 3D print version, which is very reasonably priced.
Yeah, we'll get that. We'll get a link to that popped in. The,
Get that added in.
I'll
I
actually
have backed
put
that,
that.
so
I'll put that in the community tonight.
I think I worked out that you can get 136 horses in 3,000 points in the militia list. So
A lot of horses.
it's a lot of horses.
So, what do we think of the Grognard's cavalry as a option?
I think.
Yeah, they're okay.
They're all right.
Yeah, I want to see a bit more because they're only
They're a bit busy.
early stage I would think there's not a huge amount of detail on them currently. The concept looks good.
The comparisоning looks a bit clumsy. I think they'd be better off without the comparison, and I don't know why they've tried to give them tusks.
Yeah, that seems a bit.
I mean, I get the point that, you've got nearly a ton of horse charging into you, and the horse is as much of a weapon as the person on top of it if it's properly trained. But you don't need to put spiky bits on it.
Fair enough.
You're not a 14-year-old goth.
So, not massive fans, but
we're all 14-year-old goths.
Oh,
I was at one point, yeah. And
we've seen the photos.
Yes,
we know.
Well,
on the Patreon.
You were infinitely more goth. From the photos shared tonight, you were infinitely more goth.
There is that.
And do you know what? I wasn't even remotely goth at that point.
You weren't
That's
even
how cool I was.
Yes, it was so
Were you
good.
listening to Peter
cool.
Andre and Aqua in that picture then?
No.
Why would you sing Aqua?
Why won't you be?
You just keep your music taste or apparent lack thereof out of this one, Mr. Bottrell.
Aqua had a few good songs.
Calling Dr. Jones
song that was tolerable.
Absolute belter of a song, Calling Dr. Jones. Beautiful.
Yeah, I was going to say, and it's not the one that's on a film at the moment, or presumably on a film. Because if they've not put that as the theme tune to that thing with that film.
I believe they've redone it, especially.
They have, yeah.
It's Oppenheimer, isn't it? I believe it's in Oppenheimer.
Oh, I was going to say, is Aqua's Barbie Girl the theme tune to Oppenheimer?
It totally is.
It's a real twist, but yeah.
It is. So we had another mat, this time from P-Works, the Apocalypse Land, which will set you back a princely €73.90 if you want the neoprene rubber in our traditional 6x4. Looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. Nice kind of like nice background. What do you reckon?
I like it. It's definitely something I think would work for pretty much any futuristic set game.
Yeah. I don't like P-Works' website because you can't actually scroll through the different pictures they've got.
You can't, can you?
Not in Safari.
Oh.
No, you can't in Chrome either.
Can't in Chrome either.
Right,
Yeah.
so yeah.
You can if you click on the
nice
pictures
Matt's
below.
rubbish website.
Okay, yeah, so you can.
I think
Oh yeah, that does
you
look
could
pretty
use
good.
that. You could use that mat for any.
You could use that
in
for
fantasy, anything. Yeah, it's so beautifully generic, which is
It's
Kind of what you want, really.
It's a really nice bit of geography they've found to get some pictures there, or been rendered from whatever. I'm liking that.
Probably,
They don't do a
generated.
custom size, which is a little irritating.
Yeah, I mean, it's not. I mean, it might just not be easy for them to do it.
No, I did like that with the deep cut one. That basically you just go, well, how big's your table?
Yeah.
And
they can't
as
do
long
it
as it's
size.
not it's not bigger than 6 foot by 6 foot, all the images that they base everything on are actually 6 foot by 6 foot.
Scaling is
So they don't actually scale it; they just chop a chunk out of it because the biggest they'll do is 6 by 6.
So these guys do the same thing, actually.
Do they?
So 6x4 is the biggest image because if you go onto a different, there's another one I'm on, which is the lava one,
right?
And it shows you. Hang on, let me just.
Oh, they just might not do it with this Apocalypse Land.
Just
one
don't
yet.
Let me try and work out how to put this into the chat here.
Warland. The beach ones. The beach one's really good, and I like the fact it's called Overlord.
Aye.
That's probably something we should do at some point. Try and see what we can do in terms of looking at the mat options.
Well, perhaps if somebody gave us some to have a look at, then we might have a better idea.
That's what we're saying. No cut studios.
How do we translate that into Lithuanian?
I don't know.
I think the thing is that I think we have to bear in mind is that there are 4 of us, and sending out 4 things of a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
if it's for gaming, they don't need to send it to me.
So if you have a look in the chat that I've just put, so they do 6x4 images, and then the different sizes you choose, you get a different part of. So 6x4, you get the whole picture, and then they cut it.
Because it's not.
It's in the chat for this.
Oh, maybe it's
Skype chat.
Some of them have got a different type of material.
Oh, we lost Chris.
Skype's playing funny buggers. He's back.
Oh, he's back.
Bonjour. Sorry, I don't know why it's kicked me out of the chat.
No worries.
Fair enough.
But yeah, I think anyway, probably one to watch out for. Like I say, clearly a competitor to Deep Cut Studios, but some nice stuff in there.
There's Game Mat EU as well. They're pretty good.
Yeah.
The
Game Mat EU are quite. I like the Game Mat ones because you can get double-sided from them as well.
I see what you mean.
Yep. It might be worth asking, even if just for a discount code, so we can get one from each company and have a look at them. It might be worth asking. I'm terrible at asking for stuff off them.
I'll get some good pictures of my deep cut one when that arrives.
Yeah. I can't even remember who the studio I've got my one from is.
Anyway, Mr. B.
Yes. Okay, yes. Oh, me. Sorry, I need to get my show notes back up because I lost them when my computer crashed a few minutes ago, and I had to restart, which cost us all a lot of stuff. So I'll restore.
Yeah, we've had to re-record the whole show, so it's now 4 o'clock in the morning.
Best show we ever did, actually.
Yeah. Okay, right.
This is just a tribute.
Okay. The thing is, the bit that really surprised me is when Mr. B started balancing the plates on all of his fingers.
I was impressed with him
didn't shatter
reacting
one.
his hit that night in Budapest.
It was the voices he did, and he really he sold the picture really well.
He totally did, right?
They say a picture tells 1,000 words.
I was in that.
But it was the other way around for me.
The way that he had that outfit tailored as well.
I felt like I was also topless, dangling over the Danube.
Exactly.
With a Eastern European lady on one side holding my legs.
It wasn't just the waters that were blue.
No, I mean,
anyway,
I could feel it. I could feel the cold on my nipples, just as he described it.
Exactly, and the rub of the ball gag.
Well, I mean,
family friendly show, guys.
Unfortunately, we're not going to ever be able to talk about that because it all got lost in the train crash.
Okay.
Oh, well.
It's like those people that had those Bitcoin on their laptops they threw away.
That's right. It was
just like that.
Podcast gold. We would have won an award for it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's talk about the everything else. So the
one that goes through Budapest.
The penultimate bit of news is that basically Warhammer a community did a thing where they asked people about for painting questions, and people and their staff answered it. I mean, they went with the whole thing at the minute where they're not talking about surnames and stuff, which I find a bit weird. But
it's because they've had painting celebrities and they've lost every single one because they haven't paid them enough. They haven't paid them as much as they could make on their own.
Well, yeah, probably. But I just find I just find it weird that they've done that. But anyway, there we go. So they've answered some questions, like, for example, how to apply a texture paint.
With a brush, I'd guess.
You know, how do you know where you need to highlight? And what's the best primer for yellow and dusting and stuff? It's not actually a terrible article. But
why is all your gold orange?
Why we've not asked Rob to do a Age of Empire painting FAQ? That's why.
But it's the kind.
How do you paint this? With a brush.
With a brush.
But it is the kind of thing that
to be fair,
actually.
That's not an answer I'd give, though. I'd be like, don't do it with a brush. Airbrush it. It's quicker.
To be fair, this is the kind of thing that I think I would like to see more of from Warhammer community. I'd like them to see them taking actual genuine questions and stuff.
Yeah, but are they genuine questions?
Well,
are they genuine questions?
I can imagine.
Are they genuine answers?
I can imagine that most of these are genuine questions. And actually, to be fair, as answers go, they're not bad. Like, for example, they've got here, how do you make sure your drill barrels are all centered? And they're talking about option of choice, an indent with a pin or the point of a hobby knife to keep your drill centered as it turns. And it's like, yes, that makes a lot of sense. And it's like,
is that not right? This is me being Aspie here, but is that not obvious?
To me, it is. But it wasn't obvious to me when I was 10.
No, that's true. But when you were 10, were you drilling barrels?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
All right, you were a faffier 10-year-old than me. Then.
I was a faffy 10-year-old. I don't drill barrels.
I drew black circles because that's what. Heavy Metal didn't drill the barrels back when I did.
But again, that's it. Look. It might, some of this stuff might seem obvious to us. Like, what is the best? You know, how do you go about adding dust to armor? And he talks about, a Stylian drab, filling it down with water,
AK enamels, dust and rain mark effect.
Well, yeah, but they're obviously not going to talk about that. But some of this stuff,
and that's why I don't trust it.
they're always going to favour their own products.
Yeah, exactly. But that's not.
Actually, to be fair,
that's why articles like this need to be independent, where you get people go, well, actually, you could do it this way, or you could do it this way.
That's what we're supposed to do. But I mean, just for example, I'm going to go back.
Don't trust me. I'm a weaponized prat.
There was another article they did a couple of weeks ago where they were talking about some of these new models for Age of Sigmar, the Dawnbringer stuff, and basically they mentioned the slap chop technique, which we all have different opinions on, and they edited it.
What is wrong with that, by the way? That seemed like a perfectly reasonable way to paint a model.
People have been painting like it for decades.
I was going to say.
Some pillock put a bloody fancy name on it to get himself 1 billion hits on YouTube.
Here's the thing.
Yeah,
they edited it within an hour to remove the term slap chop. And at first, everyone was all like, "Oh, they're just doing it because the guy who came up with the term used to work for GW and they hate him." And it was like, when you actually Google slap chop, there's actually a patented machine thing in America for chopping onions or something called the slap chop. And it's like, yeah, that's probably why they did it. Not because they hate
all slap chop is glazing over zenithal highlight.
Sorry? What was that?
Wasn't it Louise's other half that?
No, it was no, different guy.
Oh, different guy.
I didn't even know what it was, but it was
glazing over a zenithal highlight. It lends itself really well to getting stuff done quickly with contrast.
Contrast over a zenithal highlight.
People have been doing it for years.
It's something that we've done for years, but I think it's just become a lot easier with contrast.
Seems like a perfectly good way of painting a model.
Yeah, but what I object to is the not monetization, but the kind of proliferation of you'll have to edit this terminology, because it's just like you see in makeup adverts with all this pseudo-scientific that they've blatantly made up to get your attention, and people believe it. Early GW blooming painting guides had spray it white, glaze your colours over the top, thin them down, and then the white will shine through them. GW publications have had that in since the 80s. Slap chop is nothing new.
No, I agree with that, but I'm saying the reason that they probably got rid of it out of that article was simply because of the fact
but
it
shouldn't be it shouldn't be as much of a thing as it became anyway.
What's impressionist painting, Rob?
Painting in dots, not to be confused with pointillism.
What's abstract painting? They're names for things that are a system of doing a certain thing.
Well, yes,
slap chop is no different to that.
Yeah, I think it's the actual combination of the two words that I object to as much as anything, because they just don't make sense to me.
I mean, it does sound fairly brutal. I mean, slap and chop, when it comes to painting, sounds half-arsing it, doesn't it? Where it isn't really.
But if they called it faff and palaver, I'd be like, no, it's the best thing ever.
But let's be honest, it is probably because it's a copyrighted term for a device in America.
Yeah, that's.
Can we move past this particular?
Yes, we are done, because I shouldn't have mentioned it because I know Rob's opinions on the term, and it was my fault. I poked the bear.
You totally did. You really did poke the bear there with
I just like. This is different. This is slightly different, but like I get.
Slightly different, but fundamentally
I get frustrated sometimes in some of the discords that I'm in, because you'll see people saying, what green should I use with this? What purple should I use with this? And it's like, whichever one you like. It's like you take the Monks of Cool approach of like, which is the best green to do for this? It's like the one you pick, because that's how you want your models to look. Don't ask somebody else.
What grey should I use?
That's true.
To be fair, though,
what I tend to do is to go to, because I tend to don't want to use Games Workshop paints, because I don't like using pots. I'd much prefer dropper bottles, and I can't be asked to change bottles. So usually I ask Rob, what's the colour like this, but in a dropper bottle fashion? And he'll go.
Isn't there an app for this? I'm sure.
Almost certainly. It's called Rob.
There certainly was.
It's a lot easier.
Cancelled, but.
So yeah, he'll say, "Oh, well, I would use this blue or that blue or something like that." But yeah, I totally do ask those.
It's like literally every week you see somebody going, "What blue should I paint? What blue should I paint my ultramarines?" And that's basically an instant block from me, because it's like, well, if you're struggling at that point in this hobby, God help you make any other decisions.
To be fair, I do use.
Would you recommend the Fang or say Thousand Suns blue?
No, I would just
certainly not the
do what I've done: the Crag blue and then Calgar blue. Job done.
The scale 75 Canterbrick blue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am. You know what? I'm
bleeding lovely.
Anyway, move on before we get into paint wars.
We're going to have to move on because we can't finish the show tonight, so we're going to move the missions into next show, so we'll go straight into the close now.
Well, Rob's got some...
Chris is happy about something, I just haven't figured out what it is.
We kind of wound you up and we'll get ready to
Chris is getting married, so
controversial subject.
I am just blissfully getting on with my evening politely.
Rob, you've got the next...
about to get married. He's blissfully
the next bit.
having...
Oh, yes, the Marine Range update.
Oh, yes, of course.
That Michael's added in later on because he's forgotten to put my name in bold in the show notes. Damn him. Basically, old stuff is gone.
It's history.
So, scouts are gone.
Yay.
If you took scouts, the early 2000s scale replicas of John Cena are no more. The company command squad has gone. Scouts with sniper rifles have gone. I don't know what iteration librarian that is. I think he's a 6th or 7th ed 40k librarian.
I think pretty much the ones that we're concerned about are the scouts and the
librarians.
Scouts and land speeders.
Land speeder, the plastic land speeder has gone.
Bikes.
Scout bikes. That's gone as well. The land speeder Storm isn't a thing for us.
Classic Judge Dreadstar bike's gone.
Yeah, the Ironclad Dread's gone. That wasn't a thing for us. The Thunderfire Cannon wasn't a thing for us. The Tech Marine and Servitors.
Stalker Hunter.
I mean, they came out when I was working for GW 20 years ago.
I think they're only resin.
They are.
The land speeder. The land speeder.
What was that stuff they called? That wasn't resin, but was kind of resin.
Finecast.
Yeah.
The attack bike wasn't they
knocked it on the head
in the range?
They did. You see, the thing with they not, it's still the Finecast resin, but it's not branded as Finecast anymore. And the reason for that is because when they did Finecast resin, there was this is probably a bit boring, but there was no quality control. They just shoved them out, and without thinking, right, we need to make sure that these are good. They just shoved out as many as they could to get everything into every store, and it didn't work. And that's why Finecast was rubbish. Because when they actually stopped doing that and they just moved all the resin stuff to direct only, it got good. Because they actually cared about
I think I've got that.
Was it an early form of that CO casting?
I had him and I took his backpack off to make the HQ for my Mechanicum Force.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
I sawed it off and put it on. Sorry, Rob, what did you say?
The early Finecast stuff, was that like an early precursor to what is now the CO cast production technique? Because that's like a resin sprue. So I was thinking the attack bike has been around since the 90s, unchanged.
Yeah.
I remember.
It's changed. It's changed. It changed when the bikes changed.
Did it?
It's as old as the normal bikes. I found an app. It's called Mini Paints.
You can get Brush Rage as well. That's a good one. But that's more about the process. So you can, like, if you've got multiple steps, you can note them down, so you don't have to.
I will see if I can find the
remember them.
But yeah, no, it sounds.
Are some of the Scouts the oldest design still around?
No, I think it's some of the Eldar.
Oh yeah,
okay.
Yeah,
I think it's some of the
Warp
Eldar
Spiders.
Aspect Warriors.
Oh, yeah,
Eldar Warp Spiders in 1996.
There you go.
Right, Rob, Graham, I'm sending you this app. This might help you a bit.
Thank you. Okay.
So sending out to the WhatsApp chat.
I know we give a lot of the current faces a hard time on models that GW release.
But look at them scouts.
But one of them. But look at this guy's chops. I mean,
is this Guess the Sex face?
No, this is. I don't know what this is. I don't know what this is.
Oh yeah. Yeah, but some of these paint jobs date back a long time.
The paint job is helping that sculpt.
Yeah.
That's a man who's been caught with his genitals who thought he was putting it in a public toilet and found
I have to figure that out now.
Mr. B, that's perfectly reasonable.
He's just dropped it in a smoothie maker rather than anywhere where he thought it was going.
All I'm saying is that face as bad as the Katachan jungle fighters?
Yes.
because they're pretty bad.
They're privates.
They are abysmally bad.
Okay.
I mean, who are these people?
It's
Me,
It's
Space
very-
Marine.
it's very
Me
early.
not understand.
It's very 90s GW design. When were these designed? Were these like 2000 or?
Plastic Scouts, early 2000s. They were already out when I started working for GW in 2004.
I mean, we give like some of the faces now that are really beautifully sort of 3D sculpted, so they've got. But if these had been released while we were doing this show, I mean, we'd have just done an hour on these guys
Look,
alone.
if there were podcasts when these guys were released, they wouldn't have lasted as long as they did.
No,
in fact, that whole squad is just a gift of guess the sex face. Really. I mean, look at this guy. He's like, oh my god, I'm very disappointed. Or
if you extended
the
that
light
shading, he'd look like Dave. If you extended that
I-
shading around the mouth and polished his head up, he'd look like your brother.
I mean, my brother has a generic kind of face for that. That's true.
generic face. He's gonna love that. He's
No,
gonna
'cause-
love
You know,
Sorry,
all my
I
Northern
didn't say
all my,
that.
Do you know,
He-
just to
all
say
my
this, I know
Northern
Dave
Irish-
listens to the podcast. Louise and I play a game
generic
which
face.
is guess the orc that looks like Dave in Lord of the Rings, because there is one.
but I'm
And
gonna
in
be-
fact, it's not too well. Actually, it's in the same near the bit where where Mr. B, the shaven Mr. B, is in.
I'm going to have to be honest here, guys. My Northern Irish friends tell me that every English person has a friend called Dave who looks so generically English, it's unbelievable. Your brother Dave is my friend like that now.
I don't know if he looks. He's got an interesting. Like I said,
He's definitely
Again,
a generic English
Just
face.
putting this out there, Dave. This is Graham saying this.
yeah,
Not
he
me.
knows. He knows. He
Oh,
will
I
take
love
back
Dave.
his
Dave
back.
is a great guy.
Anyway, moving
Oh, hang
swiftly
on.
on.
Mr. B, you might have been right about the catachans, because I just want to show you this. These little beauties that I've just.
Oh yeah, the
finish the show
Catachans
with
are
this.
terrible.
A round of guess the action that led up to this.
I'm going to bring up
coitus.
some pictures of some blue and green army men in a minute to sort of compare faces.
Right, let's share this. Let's share this bad boy. But what is going on here?
Oh yeah, admittedly,
This
there
guy
is
at the
that
front
guy.
in the middle. What is going on?
I'm sorry, but the Catachans are the worst painted models on
This guy
the website.
and the person up in the top second row, right hand side, he looks like he's just sat on something he
Whoa.
shouldn't have.
I'm
Holy
gonna be
hell,
perfect.
that's-
He's-
To be
I
honest,
thought the Catachans got redone. Is that
Well,
still available?
This
Yes.
is still the plastic kit that's available here. I mean, this guy's eyes, even if
He's seen
Okay.
things, man.
so, someone has painted his eyes level with the world as opposed to his face. So when he's standing upright, that his left eye is going to be higher than his right eye.
He
And I've
follows you
got-
around the room.
He's got gyroscopic eyeballs.
look,
Okay.
I think that to be honest though, I think if GW tried and repainted these for the website, I think they'd do a much better job. But
I mean,
Oh,
Let's
there he
think
is.
about
Look
it,
at
mate.
him. What has he seen in the bedroom to get his face like that? That's too hard.
but I'm sorry, heavy metal painters of back in the day, but these do look like they were painted by my 7-year-old nephew.
What is it? What is a violation of a religious precept, by the way, Chris? Just looking at the back of your screen.
this is the Face of Eberron PDF. I was doing two things at once.
What is it?
It's a thing for D&D.
Oh right, okay. I
But
thought it
look
was
at
part of your wedding insurance that you were
that.
talking about earlier.
No. I'm doing more important things, Rob. I'm researching a thing for D&D at the
The
same time.
insurance will
doing this.
be voided if he's found to be in
I tell you what, if you have
violation
that
of his
face on your
religious
wedding
duties.
night, you're in
Yes.
big trouble.
But
I mean,
yes, these are absolutely without
They are
doubt
terrible, aren't they?
worst.
I'd forgotten about them. I thought they'd gone from the range.
Nope.
That
They're
dagger
still
looks
there.
like the kind of inflatable one that you buy at the fair.
it
It
does.
totally does, doesn't it? It looks like it's made of. In fact, I've seen LARP weapons that look more
Yeah.
made out of gaffer tape that look more
And the
convincing.
thing is, I have
it's just those
seen
eyes.
I
It's
have
just
seen
the
community
eye.
members paint these recently, and they look so much better.
Well, yeah, you just look at what community members do with Lord of the Rings models, because a lot of the Lord of the Rings plastics aren't exactly sculpted any better than that.
But I think
Certainly
the
the early
problem
ones
is that they're a bit smaller, so it was difficult to get it done with the materials they had at the time. So
there you go. Anyway, what a fantastic game to finish the event on.
Sorry, Games Workshop. You really need to either redo those Catachans or repaint them.
Well, the scouts are being phased out anyway, so that's going to be a problem that's going to go away by itself.
Yeah,
maybe the Catachans will be next.
But to be fair, all the Eldar playing people I know will still complain. They've got new scouts before we got new warp spiders.
Yeah, well.
That's what they literally do all the flipping time.
Sucks to be an Eldar. Right, or Death Guard player. They're the same thing fundamentally. Okay.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
It's exactly the same.
The Death Guard are just Eldar after they were famous.
These ones are slightly more modern.
Oh, they are better, aren't they?
They're a lot better.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Oh yes.
They've still seen things. That guy with the banner looks like Anthony Quayle in Guns of Navarone.
Yeah, it does a bit, yeah.
What's going on with you? Bloody hell.
Master, I will contact the command squad and see what is going on.
I'd be very suspicious of him in an army, wouldn't you? Be like, we need someone on the radio. Do we trust him? He looks like bloody half a ghoul.
You know that his nickname is either Crazy Eyes Jeff or Teeth. One of the two.
Teeth.
Oh, I thought it was going to be magic.
Have a chat with Teeth.
Have a chat with old Teethy. He'll sort you out. Get on the radio, Teeth.
I suspect those teeth didn't start life in his face.
Mind you, if that's his doctor,
I think
those
they
teeth. Are Catachans, so
I think hit that guy is like Sweet William from Sharp, who's basically created him. He's created himself a set of dentures from corpses.
I'm glad that I've turned this show into basically taking the piss out of the Catachans for the last 20 minutes of it, so that's good.
It's been fantastic. Okay, cool.
Next week we'll review a different set.
Yes. We'll show our own painting of faces and see how they compare.
Shall we move into the close?
Right, so 10 minutes until we all turn into pumpkins, so time to go. But if you've enjoyed the show, leave us some reviews on iTunes, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Tell people to watch the YouTubes and see pictures of teenage goth Chris, who wasn't a goth but would fit in very well at either a Cure concert or the Raven Guard.
I was pale enough, certainly.
Yeah, Graham looking like Ben Fogle.
I still can't believe that's Graham.
Or Charlie from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, whichever way you want to.
Yeah.
Different end of the scale.
And Michael looking like Michael.
I pretty much haven't changed.
A weird creature that we're yet to work out what it was.
Jesus Christ.
Just do a Google search for the Great Clean One. Somebody basically... No, somebody gave the Great Unclean One a bath.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that
filled
one.
it in,
hilarious.
and basically that's what that picture looks like.
Yeah, I think I have to agree with that. I did look like a great clean one.
So give the Facebook pages a like as well. Buy my Solar Auxiliary on Heresy Trading.
Have you put a link to it in the community site?
Look, I'm totally abusing my position of power. I've never said I should be trusted with anything.
Oh, actually, to be fair, if you did that, Rob, then everybody would know what your sock puppet account is. So.
Oh, crap. That's all right. I'll soon create a new one.
But then everybody would know who is the dickhead who's been arguing with people.
I haven't been arguing with people because I don't comment or post or anything.
Okay.
Really?
Often,
but there are
just because I commented that Greg's comments was constructive as an effing Lego set, that was,
Oh, he is out of hospital now, by the way.
He will have known full well that was me anyway.
That's true. Anyway, come on, let's get this.
So anyway, if you want to get in touch with us, then shout at Michael, put it on the Facebook wall, send us a message, or email info@edgeofempire.co.uk, or whatever you want. Edgeofempire.co.uk, because we do get them.
We are going to have listeners' questions in a couple of episodes. So,
there you go. Send in some questions, and we will do our best to answer them.
They're not about paint.
No, they could be about paint. Just the answer might not be as calm as some of the others.
We need to figure out a schedule for Rob's paint chat and get it running again.
Yeah, we'll sort something out.
That's probably the most frequent question we get these days.
Well,
Don't tell him that.
Don't tell him.
People don't want to listen to me anyway.
Well, the last month we had 2 emails, like both saying, "Yeah, Michael was right. Don't question him that much."
Yeah, but that doesn't count if you're sending them to yourself.
Yeah.
It was on the damage. It was about the damage mitigation rolls.
All right. Okay.
What did you get right? I find that hard to believe.
Damage mitigation rolls
rules
are not a normal save.
No, they're not. When did we say they were?
He's just making
when we last recorded.
He's just making it up now.
Last recording.
Yeah, I reckon he's the only one who gets these emails, isn't he?
He's just making it up.
Sent to
whatever,
this address only Michael will see at edgeofempire.co.uk.
It was in the last.
Dear Michael, you were correct.
No,
With love,
signed Michael.
Whatever Michael is spelled backwards.
It was about the damage mitigation roll in terms of the Alpha Legion auxiliaries last month. Because you were all saying, no, that doesn't work.
If you want to stop the damage mitigation on Michael's head if he doesn't stop talking,
yes,
then
because everyone wants to get to bed.
You can go to
I feel like this episode's been somewhat erratic. How to pronounce Michael backwards? Okay, cool. You can look it up on Google.
If you want to help the show out.
There you go. Leak him. Sorry.
Leak him. There you go. So we've got an affiliate link with Audible, so you can sign up to get your Horus Heresy audiobooks through them. Month's free trial, and it's $7.99 a month for an audiobook. All the Black Library books are on there. You also join the Patreon. We've only got one tier. That's $1. That's it. We've all got the launch codes now because I've shared them with everybody, so we can all put things on there should we wish. You can buy as a coffee or Ko-Fi. I've never quite figured out how you pronounce that. I'm guessing it's coffee.
I think it is just coffee.
You can also help us out by going through the advert on the website to purchase your wargaming toys through Element Games with the Element Crystal codes, which means you get double crystals, we get normal crystals. They're all in the show notes, but Chris's code is CHR211, Graham's is GRA2794, Michael's is MIC440, and mine is ROB676. We also have an affiliate link with the Outpost as well in Sheffield, who are a rather spiffing group of chaps there running their own little friendly local gaming store. So yeah, that's it. I have been wound up by this lot talking about paint.
That really did you a number.
To be fair, we have actually wound him up quite a bit.
Yeah, but going to go to bed angry.
That just proves I'm going to bed. Inane questioning that gives the impression to me that somebody hasn't bothered to think for themselves winds me up regardless of the subject.
All I'm suggesting, Rob, is that whatever you do not go to bed with the face of the Catachan. I think that's what.
Well, no. I mean, I spent 4 years in Scarborough. I've gone to bed with worse.
Yeah, I
just realised what Mr. B looked like in that photo he shared with us. I'm just going to share my screen one more time.
Okay.
Let me find the great clean one.
Oh,
he looks like an adipose. That's what he looks like.
I can't see that. It's not showing up.
I will.
Yes, there we go.
Yep.
That's Mr. B.
No, hang on, got it. I've found it. I have found it.
Completely hairless.
Where's the chat? Hang on. Where's the chat?
Oh, you're going to share the great clean one. Yes.
There's the chat. Yeah, of course I'm going to share the great clean one. How do I save it? Save it. Not from Reddit, apparently. Not from Reddit, because Reddit's just nonsense.
It is. Trust me.
It works for some people. I just can't get my head around the format.
They have been in the news a lot lately for being terrible.
Reddit. There were a lot of wargaming places stepped away, and a lot of communities backed out of it and stuff because they changed their rules.
And I was trying to figure out a really obscure issue I have with my Linux machine, and the only answer was in a subreddit that was closed for the protest, and even like specialist forums were all like, "Oh yeah, go to this Reddit post to look at it," and it's like, "Oh my god, if we lose Reddit,
that's not opening up, is it?"
Can you share your screen?
I found the picture. Yeah.
I think Chris is going to share it.
Oh, I do. So
Chris is the screen sharer general.
Yep.
Screen share general tonight. That's me.
To be fair, I know exactly what Rob means, and yes, I think that exactly was what I looked like.
Yeah.
That was.
I mean, I don't think it's
great for people listening on the podcast. I've got to say, this little section.
Well, look, it's their own fault. They can go onto YouTube and they can see the video.
Okay.
Look, all I'm going to say is there's a picture of me where I had to I shaved my head and
your face
and my face
and eyebrows
eyebrows. But for children in need, and if you Google the image, great clean one, you will find a picture that is basically what I looked like at that time.
Right. And it still hasn't come up. Oh yeah, there we go.
And I have it's the face expression and everything. And my lass phoned me up because she was in India at the time. She was in some random club in the middle of flicking Mumbai, drunk off her head on champagne cocktails because they cost like 4p. And she just was like, "You look like an egg."
Yep, you did.
Yeah, there's one that's been
full on. See that image?
There's one that's been full on budified on.
That's cool, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right. Let's get the hell out of Dodge.
Right, shall we go to bed?
Good idea.
Go to bed.
Yeah, I could do with
turn the lights. Edge of Empire Towers. And,
yes. Head off into the distance. So we shall see you all next month when we shall probably have an equally chaotic episode. Well, hopefully we will do less angry winding up of Rob.
Yes, and we will do the core missions.
Yeah, we'll take it.
We'll have a turn in the barrel.
We do. That's very true, actually. Core missions and the campaign would be good to cover.
Yep. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
All good.
Bye.
Bye.
Take care, everybody.
Bye.
Be excellent to each other.